What you think, man?
I've been in the polyamory lifestyle. I can't even say lifestyle because it's not a lifestyle. It's a way of loving, not a way of living. I've been polyamorous for about 10 years now.
Okay.
And the mindset for me is mentally, I think I've been polyamorous longer than actually practicing it because I've always felt that this like monogamy just doesn't fit for me.
Right.
I don't understand why I have to only love one person or why I can only show affection for one person. Where is this written? Why do I have to go along with what the societal standard supposedly is?
Right.
And then the problem comes when you love somebody too much. When you let yourself love somebody too much,
and they don't love you the same.
It's not even matter whether they love you back or not. They can love you back, but it's still unhealthy to love somebody that much. Which I understand that ideology of that. Well, I can't have. I might as well. I've been there. I know that. But at the same time, you have to realize, what your culpability is in a relationship going, however it went. You start thinking about, well, damn, I did this. So, you can love somebody too much. And then, see, that complicates things for us men because we already have a hard time forming those emotional attachments. You already told don't do that.
The missing link to that goes back to a time before we even thought, why doesn't my father is that a protection for me?
Right.
Or is that the way he was raised? Or maybe somebody hugged him one day, a man hugged him. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm just saying we got
but there are things that could have happened that absolutely that caused him to be the way he is.
Made him feel weird, needed.
Right.
So the things that we think are sometimes a rejection or a lack may have been a protection.
And most of the time, they are like absolutely. But if we don't understand that, all we know is the rejection.
You see, like what I understand with my father,
men were going to jail, killing each other, and then now we got bisexual, then we got gays, now we got transgender. So with all of that going on, the purpose of that was removing the black man, the black male from the household. Okay? So with him not being in the household, she's getting the welfare, or she's out there in the workforce, forced to take care of herself, and if she have children, to take care of the children alone. Whether he's in jail, whether he's dead, whether he's bisexual, whether he's gay, whatever. The black male was removed from the home, and black woman was forced to provide for the children, for herself.
You're missing one other thing that removes black male from the home. That's white women. Because after white was a run on black men, white women. Yeah, white women. At one point, black men, they just had to have a white woman, no matter what their social economical status was. White women was the way to go. And so that pulled a lot of black men out of the house.
Damn, I sure missed that. I mean, I know Rick James, I know, you hit it. I just didn't think of that as a major absence of the black man. So
being a provider means so many things.
Right.
It means put you in a house. It means I got your back. It means we're doing this together. It means I'm not gonna walk away when things get hard. That's providing, right? I'm gonna provide emotional protection so that you can, I'll be present for you when you don't feel like you can be there for yourself or whatever, so there's so much more definition to the thing, right? And even on the flip side, looking at, men with kids, right? I remember I did not want a man who had kids. And I was about 25 when I met my ex-husband and stuff like that.
Welcome to Car Breakdowns 101. I'm your Professor Ice-T. If your car is out of warranty, a car breakdown could eat you alive. Look at that car. The transmission alone could cost you $3,000. And that engine? How much do you love your kidneys? Don't even get me started on the computer system. That's a small fortune. Do what I did and call CarShield. They get expensive car repairs taken care of so you don't have to. Class dismissed.
Call 800-765-4208.
Wow, what it do?
What's going on?
What's up?
What it do? We got AJ and we got the man of the hour, George, in the building tonight. What's happening, Jeff? How's it going? Everybody been doing good?
Yeah, everything's everything.
Good, good, good. All right. We gonna go ahead and jump in this thing. Hold on a minute. Okay, let's see here what we got. Soften it up. We got the trial of the year, the crazy trial of the year. They ain't proved shit on no goddamn racketeering. They ain't doing shit but just prove domestic violence, which is not part of the case. I don't see where it's going. Cassie got up there and made a mockery of herself. Everybody see her as a little nasty slut. And
why didn't they add domestic violence? I mean, they clearly had a case for that.
She had already took that money.
Mm-hmm.
And they still trying to prove that, but he went live and said, yeah, I messed up. I did this, I did that. So that ain't nothing. So everybody getting on the stand saying that he done this. They already said he had that he was bipolar and he got all these little mental issues. So I'm trying to get to where the kids was getting molested and they ain't proved none of that yet.
What's the racketeering part? Where they come in?
It ain't been presented yet, but they trying to show some drugs. You got little pills, some little sex pills, some little cocaine and all that stuff. But hey, that's for personal use. You still ain't got nothing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It ain't like he's selling. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see even the purpose of this. It's like shit. I don't know. But it ain't looking good for the prosecution. You know what I'm saying? It ain't looking good. All they proving is that he got an attitude. He violent, and he jump on he jump on women and he crazy. That's all they prove. And even if he is bisexual or whatever, hell, it's a lot of bisexual people in the world now. So that ain't nothing. So I ain't seen nothing they prove.
I mean, it just proving. I'm not really following it like per se, but I'm hearing what is going on from other people. But it seems like he's a really sexual being who likes to explore sexually.
Yeah, and
sounds like
they prove, and everybody so far has been willing participants. And then the defense, he got a hellified. His attorney's top notch, because when they cross-examine, they putting it down. So it's gonna be interesting. They presented drugs today. A few drugs they found in some little small ass Ziplocs. I can see if they were finding kilos and
bricks.
Yeah,
bricks.
This personal use,
all
man.
white bricks.
Yeah, they ain't finding nothing. Just showing a couple little pills and this and that and that. So if they found some dildo, they found some a lot of sex toys that they trying to talk about. But I'm still trying to see where that is. But yeah,
How is that racketeering?
Yeah, that's a waste of, I think that's a waste of time and the city's money. And then we got Tory Lanez. Y'all already know what happened to him. And my thing is with that, I'm mixed because number one, Megan lied in the beginning, like she got glass in her foot. Then weeks later or whatever, all of a sudden
She was shot in the
Tory
foot.
Lane shot her. But they were saying before they said he shot her, they were saying one of her friend girls shot her that she was hanging with, who she had slept with the girl man or whatever. They were into it. And then all of a sudden, Tory Lane's come out of there, the one who shot her. So now all of a sudden, the girl who really shot him, bodyguard or something like that, hollering about Tory wasn't the one who shot him. And the only thing I don't like about our people, we don't say shit until shit hit
It's
the fan,
us.
until it's not relevant no
We
more.
don't stand up for one another. Like
Yeah.
if you know the truth, stand up. If you somebody alibi, be that alibi. Don't hey, they ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't want to, because
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in, you gonna want somebody to stand up for you, and it's gonna come full circle.
So all I'm gonna say is, then they saying, he wanted to take the blame. So if he did say, I'm gonna take the blame because I don't want her to do that, whatever happened to you happened. But if it's evidence that he wasn't the shooter, free that man. Yeah, like I say, free Kelly, free Dick. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
But anyway,
you know what? A lot of it is probably with Diddy. He made the wrong enemies.
Yeah,
Oftentimes when you see black celebrities with money, they cool with white folks until they piss one on them off, and
yeah.
that's when all this stuff comes out. You
And
know what I'm
then all
saying?
hell break loose.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
all hell break loose.
he down with Trump. So
Oh, he gonna
rumor
get out of
has
it.
it,
That's what.
if
That's how
he
he gonna get out of it. That's how he gonna
rumor
get out
has
of
it,
it. He
if he
down with
do
Trump.
get caught up, he gonna get out because of Trump.
Hey, that's the way of the world. You have powerful friends, you exploit them. It happens on the local level. So it this ain't nothing new. This ain't nothing we ain't seen before. You know,
We have Austin on the panel. We ain't seen Austin in a while. He's been super busy.
right.
What's up,
What's
Yeah,
happening with you,
Austin?
man?
what's going on? Somebody try to steal my identity and all kind of stuff got shut down for me and a whole bunch of stuff. So
Wow.
Oh wow.
yeah, so AT&T shut down my phones and my internet until they finished an investigation, and credit cards were cut off. Whole bunch of junk, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst.
Yeah.
So you had
Trying
to
to
call the
prove that it
police and
what
stuff?
trying to prove that it ain't me. It wasn't me, man. It just
No,
wasn't me.
yeah. So
You
no,
called the police?
I didn't end up talking to the police. Didn't nothing really go through. Um, everything was stopped. So,
Okay.
but they just did their investigation because they felt like it was fraud and all that good stuff. But everything got shut down when they tried it.
Okay,
That's
good.
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 That's good. Well, I'm glad you
Good.
bouncing back from that. Bounce back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I keep my stuff locked. Hell, I have to sit there. I unlock my stuff like the day early that morning. Whenever I need, I unlock it right then. And then as soon as it's over, I call them all back and I lock it again. Or I go online and lock.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they done tried
That's
me
it.
several times. Nothing. My Lexus
Yeah.
Nexus locked. Everything I got locked.
Yep. And that's what. And I still hadn't. Well, yeah, I did lock two of them. That's one of them. I still got the lock. But yeah.
Yeah, you gotta lock it up. All
Yeah. I
right.
don't.
Yeah.
Good
I like the
thing that's the
clown.
world we living in.
Oh yeah,
Unfortunately.
it's fraud everywhere now. And then
Well,
I was
here's the
in that
thing. They can't, they can't, these young dudes can't do nothing but scam because folks don't carry cash. You can't just stick a gun to somebody's face no more. All you gonna get is a
right.
debit card. So all they can do is scam and steal identities and stuff like that. It's just
When
really bad for them.
I went to that now I was in New Orleans at that cybersecurity seminar, man, the way they getting them now, it's it's powerful now. It's hard to stop it, It's hard to stop it. They getting food stamps, they wiping out bank accounts, they doing everything
And
now.
I tell you what, that's why Trump trying to cut folks that don't need it off of Social Security and food stamps. The folks that need it still gonna get it, but he got to get rid of all this fraud because now we find out how it was so rife with fraud. I know people personally that do stuff like that. or have done stuff like this. So they got to cut that out because it's taken away from the people that really need it.
No,
So
it's
people
crazy.
walk around whining, oh, he finna cut stamps. If your ass able bodied, why you on stamps?
Yeah.
As a person with a disability, I got a problem with that. So I
I
applaud
do
what you're
too.
doing. Go ahead. I got a problem with it.
Well, I have a problem with him always going to sources of things for poor people. It's like
Yeah.
he's always nitpicking at everything
For
dealing
the
with
less
poor people.
fortunate.
But yeah,
Well,
and you
but
know when you try to make money off the backs of poor people, that don't sit
right,
right with me.
right.
But you got to get off your ass and get a job then. That's George name.
Yeah,
You just
No,
got
that's
yeah,
to
not
get
what I,
get
that's
up
not
off
necessarily
your
what I'm
ass to
saying.
get a
That's not
job.
necessarily what I'm
Even
saying. That's not what I'm
hey,
saying.
You
if
ain't
you
the work.
can,
Get off your
That-
ass.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: you got millions of folks out there that's getting food stamps, and they said they had 6, 7 kids, and somebody with a disability can't get enough to feed themselves because funds being allocated toward trifling folks that don't want to do
Just
nothing.
give it out the
It's hurting
system.
the people that really need it. Now, if we all know people like that. We all know statistical information on that. They're trying to get rid of those people. Now, in terms of people that have a legit disability, and if you read what he proposing, if you have a legitimate disability, you all right. You good. In fact, he talking about doing more increasing the COLA incentive we get at the beginning of every year. But people just feel like, and there's a lot of black folks feel this way too. They got neighbors, Nene, this 22, got 5 kids, different dude every week, getting food stamps, getting $1,400 a month food stamps. They sick of saying that, man. That's what it is.
Well,
that she got the 1,400, I'm mad that she don't feed her kid. And
Right.
you get the
And half
1,400,
of them
but you
don't
don't
feed their
feed the
kids.
kid.
They'll feed some
Yeah.
dude
And I
that's
got a
coming around and
problem
knock
with
them
that.
out.
You can get them if you. I mean, because in order to qualify for food stamps, you got to live at or below the poverty level. Let's
Right.
just be clear. She poor enough to get them. So
Right.
that food stamps is an entitlement program. It's
Right.
not. It's for design. It's designed to help poor people eat.
Yeah.
It's designed to reduce food shortage,
Family.
food
Mhm.
everything. So if she qualify her and all her 7 kids for that 1,400, let's spend them at least
Feed
1,000
kids. Yeah.
on the kids. And now you sell the other 4, that's on you. But make sure the kids got something in there to eat all month long.
Mhm. Right. And a lot of them not doing that.
No,
They,
that's the problem.
they selling them. They feeding some dude, and their kids come in last, and all they buy for the kids is a bunch of
Noodles
red
and
ramen
drinks
hot
and
noodles,
pockets.
bullshit.
The
ramen
Noodles
popsicle,
noodles,
and
the
hot
honey
pockets.
bun,
and
Hmm.
hot
and
hot
ramen noodles.
fries. Yep, ramen noodles and hot fries
Yeah.
Yeah.
and weenies.
Pockets.
Yeah. Takis.
Pockets.
Y'all stupid.
Man, they
But
get them. Man,
shit. But that's another topic. Food stamp fraud. Okay,
and
but no.
you can keep them if you able bodied and healthy. You can still keep your stamps. You just have to work 20 hours a week.
Yep, and you can still sell them.
Yeah, you can still sell them, still do the same fuck shit you've been doing, but
So
at
now
least you still be able to get
I
them.
mean, but you know that
y'all promote
able
stamp
body
fraud.
work thing, it goes in and out. Sometimes they require the able body thing, sometimes they don't. In times of recession and things like that, where there is a high unemployment rate and there is job shortage, then they don't require that able body working adult thing.
That's what Trump.
Strip
That's what
You
clubs
know,
Trump
it
finna do
goes
always
now.
in
hire.
and out. It goes in and out depending on who's in charge.
Right, but Trump get ready to put it like that. And he's like, if you able bodied, ain't nothing wrong with you. You gonna have to get out there and grind for what you want. You gonna have to get out there and grind to eat. But it's just people, even us black folks, we getting sick of going to the grocery store seeing that same stuff. I know people that they work hard for their money to feed themselves, and they tell me when I go to the grocery store and I see one of them queens up there, food EBT queens up there loading up, and you know how they living and you know how they doing, and they talking on the phone, ain't nothing wrong with them. People getting sick of it. People getting sick of working every day and then watching the next man lay on their ass and reap the rewards. They
So
just
you ain't
tired of
on
it.
the next. So basically, you ain't on the next man.
But let's just be clear, George. Your tax dollars don't pay for food stamps.
I know. I ain't bringing up nothing about tax dollars. I'm just saying people getting
I'm
sick of
just
it.
saying. I mean, the thing I don't have no problem with poor people getting their food stamps, and I don't
No,
care what.
no.
And I care, but I care about what you buy, as long as you know within reason, right? Everything within
Man, let the
reason.
people do what they want to do. What they think.
They finna limit what you can get on
Yeah.
stamps, man. You ain't gonna be
It's
able to get
already
no.
started.
You ain't gonna be able to. Yeah.
Just like I think that was Canada. They started putting the child support on cards, and they can deny certain things when you try to use that card. So
Yeah, we need a lot of reform as far as poor people. I know this is way off subject. This is something I'm a lobby for as CEO of Medical Association. Is that every child is born need to be a mandatory paternity test soon they come out the mama. Everybody, period. You know
Yeah,
why? Because it's gonna.
I agree.
Yeah,
Mandatory paternity test before all judgments are done.
yeah.
Just
As
make
soon as
sure
that
that
child is
they
born,
yours before we even go any further. Before we proceed, initial setting, let's order the paternity. Then we'll go forward after the results.
right? Because if a woman got a problem with that, then she probably don't know who the baby daddy is. If you living
9 times
right and
out
you
of
ain't doing
10,
nothing,
when you know who your baby daddy is, you ain't got no problem with a paternity
right?
test.
Sure
So
don't.
these days, with y'all popping and locking the way y'all doing out there, y'all don't know who the baby dad is, and that's why the baby be looking like two of them, two or
And
three
you know
of them.
what? That very well
That's
could
why that
be.
baby look like two of them. Well, he kind of look like look a little bit like Mike too, because
Hey, baby,
that
did what it
semen
look. I ate 5 of y'all. I had 5 of y'all, and
that
I'm pregnant.
semen
And I
And
tell
I
you
stay in
told
what,
y'all
all 5 of y'all.
at least 10
this
years.
something else we
That
need to do.
semen
There needs to
stay
be
in
a
y'all at
law.
least 2 years. I mean 10 years. And if y'all sleeping back to back, and them that egg get fertilized by 2 and 3 different sperms because there's 2
It
or
can
3 different
happen.
guys in 2 days, they
yeah,
both fertilize that egg.
Right, right,
everybody take a third.
and that speaks to paternity fraud, which is really. I think if you raise a baby for 10 years and you find out the child not yours, I'd be able to civilly sue that mother for whatever you
No, you
did.
know, you shouldn't even have to sue her. She
But
should
I'm
want
saying
to
if
give
I
it back.
but yeah,
That
she
ain't
got to
your
give it
baby,
back.
dude. My bad.
Yeah,
My bad. My
but
bad.
but he gonna have dude's gonna have to sue because ain't no woman gonna give him back. Ain't she ain't gonna give a dime back.
She ain't gonna,
And
But
then
even if
see,
you
people.
She
I
ain't
don't
gonna get no
agree with
dime back.
judges. I don't agree with a judge letting it go for 10 years that long. You
Yeah.
see.
But a lot of dudes don't find out till the baby grown.
I feel
That's
like
when they find out when they
on
child
all
grown.
reality, I feel like in a case like that, and she is getting child support, I feel like she should have to get a portion of it back, probably half.
She get what now?
I feel like she should have to pay half of it back.
No, make her pay
Yeah.
all of it back for a child that ain't his. Especially if he got a problem with it. And people that'll talk about they take food at child mouth. No, the mama did that. Not the guy
Yeah,
that
What if she didn't know? What if she didn't know? And it was just, I thought it was you, dude.
and,
My
and
well,
that's
it
why
bad.
I
don't
say
matter, still
probably
apply.
half
Whether she know it or not, she still did it.
because he should have known to do a blood test somewhere within the first 2 years,
But
especially if he
dude,
had not did it. My thing is, if she was a freak when you met her, 8 times out of 10, she's gonna be a freak. So
she don't have to be a free for that to happen.
No,
She can just be a
I
yeah.
agree. The judge still ordered them off the top. Just
Mhm.
let's just be clear that we know who belong to what.
Let's just make it mandatory for everybody so can't nobody say nothing. And it takes
Yeah.
all the pressure
and that
off the
eliminate
parents.
that mama's baby, papa's mate.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we need to
I
eliminate that because paternity fraud is on the rise. It's been out there, it's been going on. But now it's starting to get attention because men are starting to stand up for themselves.
I think that you should be allowed to say if you want one or not. If the guy sit up there and say, "Hey, it's mine," and he claim it, it is what
Find
it
a fool
is.
Well,
like
he
a
can't
bitch,
come back.
right?
He can't come back later when he
And
find the truth and be
and
mad about it
that's what
then.
I'm saying. So if he volunteer and be like, "Yeah, that's my baby," he look
And so,
just
but
like
see,
he look
that'll
my
cut
grandpa
that
Earl.
out if
But that's
everybody
not
just
good.
got
But see, that's not
tested.
good because think about all the men that's gonna not do it because they feeling pressured by that woman. Even if they gonna
Or
really
that
want
they
one.
That
or they
What
feel
you
hey
like
mean
that
not
is
hey
do
their
it?
hey,
child. What if
that's on
they
them.
actually feel like that's my child?
And what some of them don't even care. They be like, "I don't care. He mine. He
Okay,
look
good. But don't come back later talking about man. She did. No, you
he
signed
he
up for this. You
he
simp.
be like the baby look like Larry Earl, but he mine."
Right.
Yeah, you and a woman 5'4", but that baby 7 feet tall. Some ain't calculating now.
Oh, let's see. Is it? Oh, shit. Okay, here we go.
Ah.
Boo.
Nelly,
What's going on?
Miss
what's
Annie,
happening
how
with
y'all feeling?
D,
Nelly? Long time. What's been
D, let
up?
me ask D, let me start out by asking you a question. All right, you
Uh-oh.
named the title of this show, The Ugly Truth About Bipolar Disorder. What is your truth about it?
What is the ugly truth?
Cool.
Yeah, what's the ugly truth? What's ugly about it?
On the cool is the truth about it. It's not what I'm learning, at least, especially listening to your Spotify's, is it's not a pretty thing. It's serious. It's not
Mhm.
nothing that, like, we used to joke around about it.
Right.
Call girls bipolar.
Multiple. Oh,
It used to be,
she got multiple personalities. That's just one of her
yeah.
personalities.
People, oh man, that girl bipolar.
Mhm.
You know,
Right. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
but because I never been close to a person that was seriously diagnosed with bipolar, we just used to say, since they crazy, it's close to schizophrenia. Oh, bipolar,
It's
because
not.
they happy one moment, they mad the next moment. But hell, I'm a Gemini. I could
Mm-hmm.
say let's do this today and then don't want to do shit tomorrow. I could love you being over my house today and don't want you to come in the next 10 minutes.
Mhm.
I'm off and on. So I may have that bipolar disorder, but a lot of us don't go and get uh, diagnosed. We don't go to therapists, we don't go to doctors to get that label, on us. We
Mhm.
don't go to therapy, you
What
know.
I don't understand though, and this especially in the black community, but all communities, is we live in an age of information. We got the whole ass internet. And we still walking around going, that boy got bipolar disorder. That guy got this. They got you ain't never look up the criteria and see what it really is.
No.
Because
They of
it's on
course
the
not.
internet. It's available, right? What you just described have nothing to do with bipolar disorder. That's a mood swing.
Yeah. And sometimes,
It's normal.
and some
People have mood swings all the time.
right.
It's
Exactly.
normal.
And when you're bipolar, I was diagnosed 40 years ago next month with bipolar at age 7. My son was diagnosed at age 7. He's 21 now. Now 29. So the thing is, it's hard enough to live that existence, but when you got people with these notions, especially in our communities, talking about it's not real, you need to pray it away, or oh, so and so just bipolar. That shows to me such a lack of empathy and common sense in the sense of if somebody got cancer, are you gonna say something about them? No, you're not. So what's the difference? It's not one. I posted on my Facebook the difference between a normal brain and one affected by bipolar disorder. They're radically different. And we can't make it any more glaring than that than to show you the difference. But we still got people on the dumb stuff. We still got us in our communities on some 1950s thinking, and all it's doing is killing us. We
Mm-hmm.
might as well put ourselves back in change. That's where we headed
Thank
to.
you. Thank you. Sure as I tell
Well,
you.
yeah, we're already doing that. But
Yeah.
here's the thing.
I mean, the conversation y'all
Uh,
was having before was about that too. So,
yeah. A lot of people don't want to admit that they need the help. Number
I
one,
can believe that.
and
Mm-hmm.
other people, they look at them and say, "Oh, that's just how he acts," you
Dismissive.
know,
Right.
or
An
hey,
excuse.
yeah, they just go, they every now and they just mad every now and then, or they just get depressed every now and then, or
Mhm.
whatever. When they're on a, you know, so a lot of people don't want to deal with the reality of what it is. They don't
Absolutely.
want to be seen as not normal. They don't want to be placed on medication.
Mhm.
They don't want that stigma
The
on
Such a
stigma.
them.
stigma. Yeah, it's
The
such a
stigma.
stigma with well, let's normalize mental health, getting mental health help if you need it. That mean
Right.
because let's just be real, life be life from all of us.
All day
And
long.
and coping is how you get through life. And if
Right.
you have a hard time coping, then get some help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
people just got to stop being afraid to get help, and especially
That's
us
what it
black
is.
men. Because one thing I found, my nonprofit Meta Association, I founded it 7 years ago. We're going 7 years strong. We primarily focus on black male mental health. Don't you know people don't give a damn?
Mm-hmm.
They don't. So you know the world don't give a damn. It's incumbent upon you to educate yourself about
Mm-hmm.
yourself or your loved ones and go get treated accordingly.
Right.
Because
But
if you
I mean, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But that's been the thing with blacks.
from the beginning of time. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? They've never wanted to allow people to see them differently, and I don't know if
Right.
that was because they saw that as a weakness or see that as a weakness, so they don't want to show that and be vulnerable, saying I need help
Mm-hmm.
and for my mental condition. I just don't
I
know what
don't.
that's about.
I don't think it's actually a. They see it as a weakness. It's just that they don't. We talk about people. We make fun of
Yeah,
people.
we judge it.
We
Yeah.
laugh. We judge. We laugh at the retarded man. That was up the street. You know how we used to tease. What was that girl? Phil. It was a girl named Phil that was that had special needs. Ali or whatever that had special needs, and we joked about them, we clowned about them, we ran from them.
Yeah, y'all was
So
wrong for that.
people, look who talking. People just they don't want, like you say, the stigma. They don't want to be talked about. They don't want to be laughed at. They don't want
Well, I
consciousness
say this:
in the street.
having a mental illness does not make you weak. To have a mental illness and not treat it and not be accountable for it, that's
That's
what
what.
makes you weak.
Makes you
Mhm.
weak. Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
but let's
because
also talk about history because I think we tend to blame the Black community,
Mm-hmm.
but we are all victims of systemic racism, right? Chattel slavery on, we had zero identity, we weren't taken care of, and I always remember, I always forget this lady's name, and please forgive me, but um, post-traumatic slave syndrome. If
Mm-hmm.
you would take a look at, you ain't got to read the book, go look for her lectures and all
Right.
that. The fact is, slavery was fucking traumatic.
Right.
Yeah.
It was traumatic, and like she says in one of her speeches, when they said y'all's free, they ain't say here's a therapist to go with you to deal with the trauma that we just caused you for all these years, right?
Yeah.
And then we
Right.
come out of slavery into systems that are literally eating us. We're killing us. That nobody care. They don't care about us, right? And
And the
so
thing, I'm
we're a
sorry.
people who are still struggling to get care. So like nobody gonna get care if systemically you're identifying every Black child who has some manner of behavior issue with oppositional defiance disorder, or you labeling them with bipolar disorder without a proper diagnosis, because you shouldn't be labeled with bipolar disorder as a child at the age that you was diagnosed, George. That's too
Yeah.
young.
Yeah, they do it now though. They didn't
Young.
back when I was younger. They didn't do it,
They
but
didn't
now
do
they
it.
do it because
Now they
they're
do it.
now they do it.
And look at the systems. I need y'all to pay attention to the systems. Who benefits? Who benefits when
Nobody.
we get misdiagnosis? The people that own all the shit benefit.
Right.
Yeah,
Pharmaceutical benefits,
pharmaceuticals. So they gonna
right?
pump you with all kind of meds.
That's why the foster care system is full of over-medicated children,
Mm-hmm.
right? If
Mm-hmm.
if the worse a child acts, the more money per night a facility gets paid for them to lay in that bed per day.
Right.
And I worked within these systems that had us writing notes that were like, oh, detail it down to every move they made and everything they said when it came to something they was doing wrong. But when they was doing well, oh, would you just right? They use that, right?
Right.
We
They
deal
do.
with a
of course.
systemic issue, y'all. This is
And
not
and
not
I'll tell
want
you
to.
something.
Can't trust the system until more of us are in those seats. And then we got even then we got to worry about coonery, right? So
Oh
you got to
yeah.
make sure that that person has your back. You got to make sure, because in school they teach me a certain way to do this thing. I just do it different because that's not what's benefiting my people, right? Just like y'all talked about the other situation. Like, we already deal with the system at large doing what they do. Don't sit in a seat and in a position of authority within these systems and participate in the system. You behind the door, right? So
Right.
what are you to do to help the person out? What
Nothing. They don't want to.
say that injures your people? That's not gonna get you no closer. They're gonna get rid of you too. They don't care about you that level and to that extent.
See, the thing is, whatever is profitable is what's going to win. That's why a lot
Exactly.
of DEI is going away because companies instituted and spent money on these programs, and it's like it's not profitable. So that's why a lot of these DEI is going away. But we need to have an understanding of what bipolar disorder really is and what it looks like. Uh, every day somebody's
I have a definition.
yeah.
You want to read it? Let me read
Mhm.
it.
Okay.
All right. It's for the people in the back. Bipolar 1 includes at least one manic episode, often followed by a depressive episode. Bipolar 2 is hypomanic episodes, which is less intense than full mania, and major depressive episodes. So if you're looking at it on the scale, and way over here is bipolar 1 and super manic, and way over here is super depressive. So bipolar 1 looks like that big of extremes, right? Bipolar 2 is less extreme, right? So you can see like that's hypomania and that's mild depression. In the middle is what you would consider a normal brain, right? The common symptoms of mania and hypomania: high energy, racing thoughts, little need for sleep, risky behavior, spiritual euphoria, and grandiosity. For depression is low energy, hopelessness, suicidal thoughts, withdrawals, and deep sadness. It's not mood swings. Mood swings last a few days. Maybe a few minutes, maybe a few hours. Bipolar disorder is sometimes weeks and months. Like
Yeah.
there have been people that's been in mania for months or a full year. They just wilding out, right?
And that's what happened to me because I was in a depressive state for about a whole year, entire year. It was nothing I did let it up. I continued to take my meds and do what I had to do, but I had to understand that's just the nature of my. I don't even like calling it an illness because I try to use mine as a blessing. It's my blessing to
It's
try
how
to
your
help other
brain works.
people.
It's just how your brain works.
Yeah, it's just how my brain works. But like even and it's I tell you what, being bipolar is painful. You have physical pain associated with it. You
Well,
know,
any
it's
medicine is
Depression hurt like that.
yeah.
Yeah, depression hurts.
And then we don't even want to talk about the manic stuff because to me, the mania is really worse than the depressive part because you have the things like the grandiosity, you have the hypersexuality, which gets a lot of us in trouble.
Yeah.
You have the euphoria. You have the erratic thinking and impulsivity. You have all those things that go along with a manic state, but you may know somebody that's bipolar and you don't know. Every 15 minutes they're going from depression to mania. That has happened to me within a minute. So every day for me is a
Or just
struggle
sitting
having
there.
to
Yeah.
having to do that and function. Come on.
Right.
You know
And
what I'm
some of
saying?
what he's talking about is called rapid cycling when you flip in and out of it
Right.
pretty frequently and all that. And that, I mean, imagine going throughout your day or throughout the weeks and you don't know, what you're gonna feel like or what level you're gonna feel like it at and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. The other
And that's my
that is had is like misdiagnosis, which is also again a reason why we don't trust the system, right? When I first met George, I was like, I have bipolar disorder too. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's all.
I was
Just to say, let's
misdiagnosed.
just be clear. We all have those issues when we going through periods of
Exactly.
emotions. Well, we have a
That's
wide
regular
range.
stuff.
We all have that.
Right.
It's how we. I look at when you was saying that, I was like, damn, I may have bipolar too. But when I think about it, I was like, you know what? When I feel those things, my ability to bounce back is
There you
amazing,
go.
and I thank
There you
God
go.
for that.
Right. Right. And
I
I tell
don't
people that
sit.
I'm sorry. The
Go ahead.
the difference between like the average or the normal amount of, because all the things that's connected to all of the things, right? We all have a little something, right? And all that. The part that causes it to be a disorder is disruptive. You can't function in it, right?
Yeah.
How long it lasts?
Yeah, how that, like, not necessarily how long it lasts, but like your
How you
ability, like your
coping?
ability to
Your
bounce back,
ability to
your
cope.
ability to
Yeah.
push through, and it's hard also because Black people have the ability to push through a lot of shit, right? And so
Yes,
you can't
sir.
see that in us.
Not
For
the new
example, I spoke
Negroes.
about it earlier. Depression according to the guidelines in the books and all that kind of stuff, severe major depression look like you can't get out of bed, right? You can't
Yeah,
function at
Right.
all.
I
But
could not
if
get out of
black
bed. I could
people,
not get out of bed for a whole year. I literally could not get out of bed for a whole year.
but
Okay,
typically
then
in
fast
black
forward
people
to that
though,
next year where you getting out of bed and you
right,
just going through the motions, but you still having
it's
a
still
hard
depressing.
time coping.
Yeah, still
Right.
about time, right?
And all I can do is offer my testimony up here tonight. I'm not even. I'm speaking more so as George, CEO and founder of Meta
Oh,
Association, as a bipolar black man. And the thing is, I'm thinking about my son. He was diagnosed at age 7, and he clearly had symptoms even up to this day.
absolutely.
And I look back and I feel relieved because at least he had me there as a father to help guide him through this. Because if he had been relying on his other family or the education system, my son would
They
be
would have
dead
just
by
beat
now.
his ass. They would just
Yeah.
whooped him through it. You would have. They would have just had to get whoopings through it.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
like I didn't really whoop my son. I mean, I understood that he had an illness. Now it's very severe, just as mine is severe, but it's genetic, it's environmental. There are a lot of things that go into it. It's biochemical. There's a lot involved, and people need to get to the point where they start feeling the way about mental illness the same way they do about somebody
Heart
struggling with
disease.
cancer. Yeah, cancer.
Heart disease.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
A lot of the misdiagnosing starts out in school
Yes.
Right.
because they
Yes.
they start to label these kids, and unfortunately there's a lot of black
Yes.
kids that are labeled, and the more troubled kids that the schools have, the more funding that they get.
Mhm.
hmm
So
And don't
you
forget
know
about the school to prison pipeline, because that's the thing.
Exactly.
One of them.
Exactly.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
so it all plays into
And
a
but and
system.
also to piggyback, Austin, a lot of it gets missed at the school level too.
Because it
There's a lot of
becomes
kids that
criminalized
are
instead of
actually
mental health.
really struggling and
Yes.
need to be diagnosed.
Those right.
And it gets missed at
Right.
that
But here's the
school level.
yeah, and a lot
Or
of
it gets
kids will
criminalized, or the behavior gets
yeah.
criminalized, and now you're taking this kid to juvie for something some behavior issue, but it's really a
That
mental
he
health.
can't even, yeah, it's mental health.
Yeah, and the thing that we need to realize is that everyone wears their mental illness differently. Some
Right.
people, when they're
Right.
manic, they wig out. You can tell. I've been severely manic, and people are like, George, I can't even tell.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like,
right.
I've gone to people, I've given speeches and talks and stuff, clearly manic, and that just lends itself to the fact of how hard it is. Like I'm an insulin dependent diabetic. I have heart failure issues, so I got to deal with that and this.
Yeah.
It's difficult. So we need to
Yeah.
have a little bit more empathy for those people that are dealing with mental illness instead of judging them. Look at it as though it's a health issue. This is a health crisis, and people are treating it like a moral failure, like a
Right.
character flaw, and
Yeah.
it's not. And we got
Yeah.
that really bad in our communities now. All ever since history, the beginning of history, like the church was really bad about dealing with mental health. You know what I'm saying? They lock you away and forget about you. So this is
You
not
got to
something
pray.
that's just exclusive to us as a diaspora. It's something that's been going on forever, and it's time for it to stop because people I've known several people to die over the past few years, and when you trace back the real root of what
Mm-hmm.
caused their deaths, it was addiction, it was
Yeah,
trauma they didn't deal with, it was bipolar disorder.
I saw I saw a comic clip when and this white guy, he say he had got diagnosed uh with bipolar disorder, and his mom was trying to relate him to celebrities to make him feel better. And she named Robin Williams. A lot of the people she named were people that had committed suicide,
Right,
killed
right.
themselves. And he was like, "Hold up now." So that's when I say what I was
That's
doing my
telling in
research.
itself. 'Cause
Well, here's the thing.
The only
Here,
reason you knew they had bipolar disorder or disorder was because they committed suicide. Before that, nobody talked about their mental illness.
right. And here's the
Right.
thing. And people are like, I never commit suicide. I never get to that point. If you got bipolar and the chips fall where they may, it does get that bad. It does get that bad because it's hard to maintain relationships when you're bipolar, especially a
Yeah.
romantic relationship. They're damn near impossible.
Now
I'm speaking
I
from
did see
experience.
that they were saying how hard it is to stay in a relationship, and that's what majority of the posts were about. Uh, Dating someone that was bipolar, and the relationships didn't last. They say out of 7 people that marry, 5 of them divorced.
Mhm.
So relationships are very hard to maintain when you're dealing with a person that's bipolar.
And I tell you
If
one
your
major
mates
thing. I tell you
don't
one major thing.
understand,
People
are
don't.
not willing to understand what you're going through, and
Right.
it takes a special person
It
to
does.
understand.
Right.
And in today's society, with everybody feeling like they got other options, and if you traditional and you looking for respect and all that, dealing with somebody that's in and out because of a mental illness and you're not educated on that illness can cause, breakups and divorce. So I got it because I was looking at a whole lot of them. So I get it.
Yeah.
But that person you got to walk into that relationship, because one of them was asking, should you walk into a relationship telling them that you have bipolar disorder? And many didn't. They was like,
Yeah.
they didn't tell them.
Right.
Absolutely. That was one of the first things I told my boyfriend, because I was at that point, I thought I had it, right?
Right.
One of the first things I told him was like, I have bipolar disorder. I need you to know certain things up front so that you can make a decision yourself, right?
Right.
And all that. I can talk to you about it. I can tell you I'm on medication or whatever the case may be. I can tell you how I'm handling it or whatever the case. But like, you have to tell that person up front. And if it's something they are willing to learn about and understand, they're a keeper, right? Give them an opportunity. But if they already know up front that they can't handle that, or even if they're using just the stigma, then that's not somebody you want to be with anyway, because you want to listen to the stigma rather than hearing from my mouth or researching for yourself and all that. That's not a person that I want to be with.
That's right.
It takes a special person, because if I'm a easygoing, happy-go-lucky kind of chill person, and you're fine right now, and we're having fun and everything's cool, I leave out the room, and then an hour later you sitting there crying and depressed. I'm like, we was just having fun a second ago. It takes me to understand, what's going on, and with me being who I am, I'll feel like you tripping and I don't need to be in this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I've never been a person that contribute to pity parties. And so when I see,
but that's inappropriate too, because now you're saying that this person with a mental health disorder is having a pity party. No,
that's not what it is.
That's what I'm saying. A person like me didn't understand that. Is what I'm saying. I didn't understand that. So it takes a special person, because when you're just your person, and you're not studying that, you don't care to learn about it, just like a person dealing with autism. My son has that. And if that person's not used to how he relates, they don't know nothing about it. So I can't really get mad at them. But like you said, if they're going to be a part of my life, they're going to have to learn. They're going to have to get learned. They're going to have to, learn about it.
In my life, you got to understand that I have ADHD real bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've lost clients because I'm late because of ADHD. But the clients that I have that appreciate my service understand I have ADHD. I'm like, just call me and tell me, girl, what you hyper focus on to get in the session, right?
Yeah, that person has to be willing.
Yeah,
to
they gotta be willing.
And I tell you something else. I tell you something else about bipolar.
People don't have empathy for stuff that they don't go through.
Right.
It's got to hit them. It's got to hit them at their doorstep before they can have empathy for the
and
next
that's what I was
person.
saying. It was all fun and games until it hits you. You don't hit somebody that you know.
Right.
And with listening to George Spotify, and I actually listened to all of them, and I see him in a different light. This man had been through a whole lot of shit and still standing. You feel what I'm saying? So I salute this brother, because he did something that I always joked about. I tell people that my mind is so strong, I could smoke crack and it wouldn't affect me. I can stop it at any time. This dude actually did that shit. You know what I'm saying? Did that.
Cocaine, not crack. Cocaine. Hold on. I gotta make this distinction. I was on powder, never crack.
Crack is wet.
He can do cocaine.
And cocaine is
and I joke, because I say I have no addictions. You know what I'm saying? I can sit there and do anything and get right off.
Right.
because it's a mental thing. And this guy actually did what I say I can do. You know what I'm saying? So I see him in a different light, and the fact that he's proud to speak on it, which I salute him even more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yeah,
because
he's willing to
many,
give his testimony.
And that's
many not
hard.
willing to
I
do
can tell
that.
you this. I can tell you this when you do that because I feel like that's what God want me to do in life is to share my testimony. That's all we got to share. But I
Right.
mean, sometimes people do when they hear my testimony, they do
Judge.
kind of
Judge.
raise the
They
eyebrow, like, "Oh, are you
judge.
still, and like,
No,
oh,
Yeah,
are
they
you
be
like
like,
he a
this?"
I
powder
don't
head.
know if I need to do
Yeah,
anything with me.
he a
Yeah,
ex powder head.
I
We just
heard his
call him powder head.
testimony.
Right.
Shoot. I was like, George
Right.
got money like that?
Dang.
To what, do powder? Talking about to do powder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm tell you how that work. I'm tell you how that work. When you pour and do powder, it's pretty much in my circumstances. I got along people real well, so they'd be like, "Hey, we finna turn up, head over to the house." I didn't have to pay for it. It's not like I was spending my money on it. I had
Right.
plenty.
Because
You
He
understand
was
know,
something,
co-powder head.
addicts don't like
Okay,
doing anything
okay.
by themselves. It's a community thing, right?
right
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
now
Yeah.
as my addiction grew in severity, yeah, I would do it by
and
myself.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you do it with $100 bill, like they be showing on TV?
Oh hell no, I ain't finna waste no $100 bill on that, getting it
You
all
know, you
messed up and
roll a hundred
nasty.
dollar bill, and you know,
You know what, folks?
A
So in
dollar
real
worth
life,
just the same.
right?
In real life,
of
In
what
real
works the
life,
same.
man, no,
A dollar.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay. It's just
Or
a
a,
little
lo-
cheaper.
or a long pinky finger. Nah,
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, you got the
now
guys.
we
If you see a guy with like, I would see
That's
guys
South
with,
Memphis. That's South Memphis. Raise your
yeah.
pinky finger up.
Oh yeah, I was in Fraser. You had the guy with that one long pinky nail, and you know what it's for? All his other nails cut, but he got a one long pinky nail. That's to scoop it up and roll up the window. That's all that is. But the thing is too about bipolar disorder that's difficult that people are ignoring. It's very hard to sustain employment. Very
yes.
hard. Pretty
Oh
much
yeah.
ain't gonna happen.
Very
It's not.
hard.
So
So
Very
do
you
hard.
they
know,
do have people that you know have gotten disability for that?
yeah, but I
Yes.
mean the thing about getting disability is that's just putting you on life sustaining poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's all it means. When you have a
Exactly.
mental illness and you're on disability, that just means you get to live in poverty. Congratulations, you won.
Yeah.
That's why I work
Yeah.
so hard on stuff I'm
Unless you're
doing.
a hustler.
Yeah, I'm saying I was born a hustler anyway. Just this is my blood, but I really got to
Mhm.
Right.
hustle because I know I'm probably not gonna be able to go punch somebody's clock and do a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's not gonna
Yeah.
work for me. I
Right.
do it if I got to,
Right.
but
But
I
you
know
know,
it's not.
you know, it's a limited time. It's a limited
Yeah,
time before this is too much. You know,
yeah.
and then you believe we're gonna do something else. You
Right.
know.
And that's why I work so hard to do my own endeavors and do my public speaking because that's going to be how I get wealthy. It's not going to come from working for somebody else, especially not with the
Right.
bipolar and the other issues I got. So people have to realize that if you deal with somebody with mental illness and they on disability, not only do they have that struggle, it's hard for them to feed themselves. A lot of people I
Mhm.
Yeah.
know with mental illness, man, they barely, they not even surviving. They
Right.
dying slowly because
Mhm.
what they give you for Social Security is a joke. Okay,
Mhm.
and that's another reason why I'm like, let's get all these folks that's with the BS off the road so we can better allocate that funds in some sort of way to go more
They
so
still ain't
toward
gonna
people that
take them
need it.
from you.
Y'all know good and well he's not gonna reallocate them funds to other people.
He not, but hell,
Mm-mm.
I feel better than I just I ain't gonna lie. It makes me mad when I see somebody and they joking about how they gaming the system to get a check. Cause people are proud about that. Yeah, I went in there and played crazy. Ain't nothing wrong with me, but now I get a check. That infuriates me. It
Mhm.
really does. So anything that gets rid of that, I'm glad.
I
But
mean,
for
I'm
people,
kind of upset about the fact that they haven't been doing the checks. They have people on the roads, and you supposed to recertify them or something every 3 or 4 years, and they ain't been doing that. And it's like,
Mhm.
well, what you been doing at work every day? We're going to work, and y'all got people a backlog of people that y'all ain't been reevaluating over the years. Then what you been doing? And now,
Right.
when you go to reevaluate them, they owe the system money because you done overpaid them now.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
And
and then you
It's all.
no go ahead.
the people that they overpaid, they finna take their taxes. You
Yeah.
finna get your
Right.
taxes taken every year because they
And
overpaid.
check or whatever, etc.
Mhm. Yeah.
They gonna
People
take
Look,
your
But
check back.
but as far as my testimony, I've done this since the beginning. I tell people, ask me whatever question you want about living with bipolar, being a black man bipolar, raising a bipolar son.
Mm.
I'm not shy about giving people my testimony because that's the only thing that's gonna help them. I got a message yesterday from somebody I hadn't talked to in 2 years talking about how much I helped them a couple years ago.
Right. Yeah.
That's what it takes to really heal. Because if you're expecting the government to get some program to help with mental health, it ain't gonna happen. If you're expecting the church to do it, for sure ain't gonna happen. So we got to do it ourselves to support our nonprofits and community organizations that treat those sort of things. Because when you have a mental illness, it's not gonna go away. It's gonna stay there to all your life. You got a life of therapy, you got a life of medication management, you got a life of dealing with it. And people don't realize it.
You can't just pray it away. You gotta
No,
add
no,
something to it too.
no.
Mhm.
I hate when people, because you know what? When I was in high school, junior high, and I was dealing with that's really when my mental illness really started to kick my ass about 13, 14. I would have teachers telling me all the time, "Oh, you just ain't praying enough." You know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. And I tell somebody that to their face right now. If they come, I get very agitated when people start talking about mental illness in a way that's very ignorant. I will tell somebody to go fuck themselves because they don't understand. Now, being ignorant is inherently not a bad thing.
Right,
We
because it just
demonize
means
the
you don't
word
know.
ignorant. It just means you don't know. But if you
Right.
choose to remain ignorant,
That's willful.
then that's where you
That's
get them
willful.
fines.
That's on purpose.
Yep.
The people have bipolar 2. Check this one
I have
out.
bipolar 2. Yeah, I saw your text. I meant to reply. I just don't feel like it. I have bipolar 2. Haven't slept in 48 hours, but I just got done running 2 marathons and I've done 300 push-ups and 200 squats. I feel great. I have bipolar 2. Of course, hygiene's important. Sometimes I just don't feel like it. I have bipolar 2. Of course, I started 15 new projects, picked up 6 new hobbies, and I applied to 3 different jobs that I start tomorrow. I have bipolar 2. Of course, I didn't do any of the things I said I was going to do today. I have bipolar 2. Remember this one time when we went skydiving and we jumped off the cliff and then we jumped into the water? That reminds me. One time we went swimming when I was like 6 years old and the lifeguard didn't even jump in and save nobody. I really do like dogs.
That's exactly what it's like.
Was all over the place.
That's exactly what it's like.
And let me tell you something. That's why I was misdiagnosed. Because that looks exactly like ADHD.
Right. And that's what being bipolar looks like.
It's way less intensity, but it sounds exactly like
Exactly
ADHD.
the same. It is how it is every day. Imagine your mind constantly going and you can't cut this some bitch. There have been times I've gone 4 or 5 days without sleep because I was manic. And then I crash. And then I can't do nothing for a week. But with that going on, I still have to get up. I still have to run my nonprofit. I still have to do my podcast. I still have to do
Take
what I
care
have
of
to
your
do. And that's
kids.
take care of my kids. I still have to do all that. And people don't understand that because I may do a video or a vlog or something documenting what it's really like living with bipolar and how that ties into addiction because it's all intertwined.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? But
Most definitely.
we have to get a better understanding of what these illnesses are. And anytime somebody in this day and age, if you come to me with that, well, I think it's all in your head, you might get the shit slapped out of you. Because I've
But
seen
see, and
people
the
die
thing
out of
about
it.
it is addiction. A lot of people are in addiction, suffering. They're in addiction because they got untreated mental illness.
Right. See, when I was doing what I was doing, when you're bipolar, sometimes you chase the mania because it feels good.
Feels
You're
better. Yeah,
productive, you're up. You reckless as hell. You're putting yourself in
But it's
danger,
fun.
but it feels good. So a lot of what I
Mm-hmm.
was doing was chasing that mania because it emulated the same feeling of the mania. If I was depressed, take a few bumps, oh shit, I'm straight again.
Yeah, you feel manic again. So yeah, they
You feel
usually
manic again.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why a lot of people try to self-medicate.
Yeah.
They instead they're saying that they're getting all these other drugs anyway that have all these other chemicals in them.
Other
So
side effects.
and side effects. So they use marijuana or they use something else. So it just continues to create issues, especially when you know that you have a condition, but you choose not to address it properly.
Right. And you
I
have to have
go ahead.
And you have to have control over how you allow your illness to manifest itself. If you're
Right.
manic, like when I'm manic, I get on projects, I get stuff done.
Yeah.
I'm doing stuff. I'm up all night writing, doing
That is.
something. Instead of me sitting there and lending myself to something more negative when I'm manic, I try to turn it into something positive. But that took me my whole life to learn. It took me
Get it
40
out.
years to learn how to do. So that's why my 20-year-old, I tried to teach him that when he turned about 13.
Hmm.
I said, when you're manic, son, you do this because you're going to crash. I ain't going to see you for
Yeah.
2 or 3 days after that. I already know I'm going to miss you. But while you up, while you manic, do this. Use it to your advantage as much as you can instead of letting it be a handicap to you.
Right.
But I told my son, I said, son, you probably never work a 9 to 5 for anybody.
Mm-mm.
I told him, don't do it. I said, work on ways right now to generate your own income, to foster your own wealth. Because one, I don't believe black folks need to be working for nobody else. No way. I think we need to have our own. But when you throw in something like mental illness, it pushes you further to be more entrepreneurial because you
Yeah.
can't live off Social Security. That's no money. That's a joke. Yeah, you
Mm-mm.
get Medicare and Medicaid that that helps you with your medical expenses greatly. But at the
Yeah.
same time, nobody wants to loan. The average disability check is probably about 1,000 to 1,100,
If that much.
if that
Yeah,
much.
if
So
that
you got to and you can't really work,
Hmm.
So it's a messed up
it's a
situation.
proverbial glass ceiling on you. You know,
Right.
you got that cap on what you can earn.
Mhm.
That don't even feel like a glass ceiling. That feel like a glass floor. Oh,
Yeah.
And but if
bottom.
you're independent and you doing your thing,
Hmm.
that's the only way that could be somewhat beneficial.
Mhm.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
you
But
gotta
So,
but
hustle.
everybody don't have those capabilities or
right.
abilities,
And they
right?
Right.
don't.
Right,
They
Right.
don't. Everybody
right.
can't.
So
Right.
you got generations of families that are stuck with mental illness because mental illness does run in the family. But
Hmm.
It
you
is.
have
yeah, I saw that.
generations of people having to live off Social Security and Section 8 and live off not even crumbs because
Hmm.
there's no mechanisms in place to have people with disabilities or mental illness really be able to fortify themselves financially because
Right.
they don't care. And
Exactly.
people and like people that have known I've been in that situation say, man, you lucky. How the hell is that lucky?
Mm.
There's nothing lucky about that. What's lucky for me, what's a blessing for me, is that I have a frame of mind where I can articulate what's going on with me. Whereas many people that have mental illness don't understand enough to be able to say, "Hey, I'm feeling this. Hey, this
Right.
I'm in a fugue." There are times when I cannot speak. It's part of
Hmm.
bipolar, called a fugue state.
Yeah.
There's sometimes for 2 or 3 days I can't speak. It's literally painful to try to speak, and I just
Hmm.
have to do this to people, or I don't call people, or I text people. Those are some of the nuances involved in mental illness and any illness that people
Hmm.
need to be aware of. But the way the economy is going, if you're on disability, you need to try to find you a side hustle and make it
Hmm.
your front hustle. Because not that
So
Social
yeah.
Security is going away for you as a disabled person, but
Right.
it's going to be a time to where that paltry $800 to $1,200 a month ain't gonna feed you.
Hmm.
In
Right.
Dallas, rent is about 1,500 to 1,600 a month.
Hello?
Just rent.
Yeah.
Not lights, not food, not nothing. But
Yeah.
you expect this person with a disability to sustain themselves on the same level as you?
Right.
Come on,
Yeah.
cuz.
And then the other issue that you have is that even when people try to get help for bipolar disorder or other disorders, they will get medicated before they would get therapy, right?
Right.
They'll put you on the
They
medicine, put you
quick
on
to
the
throw
medicine,
them
put you on the
pills on
medicine.
them.
But like it's a combination. I'm not saying
Yeah.
medicine don't work because it can, right? When you get your perfect cocktail and figure out what works for you. Most bipolar medication though is sedative, is heavily sedated.
Mm-hmm.
When
Hmm.
the lady diagnosed
You
me, the
can't.
first thing I said is, "Don't put me on no Seroquel because I got shit to do."
I'm on Seroquel
Mm.
now.
Take you
I'm
out,
yeah.
take you
And the
out.
thing
But
is on
because you've
those.
been on it for so long, I'm sure your blood has saturated it enough that it now is normal in your system.
Mhm.
But it takes 2, 3, 4, 5 months for that to happen. I got kids to raise. I got to go to work
Right.
and all that stuff. The second
I'm
thing
like
though
they were
is
muscle
having
relaxers.
right,
Mm.
like muscle rashes. I just told somebody about that at the hospital. Like I got something to do.
Yeah.
But the other thing is therapy is a way for you to understand your disorder. Therapy is a way for you to understand how to manage your disorder, to be able to, like you say, George, identify what you are feeling and give you tools to be productive when you manic, right? What does that feel like? What does that look like? You know, how are you treating your body? Because it's holistic too. What are you putting in yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you around? Like all of those things matter, right?
Right.
So don't exasperate your symptoms. You can't, if you don't know how to deal with it and you're not seeing somebody who can help you with that, or somebody that supports you, because sometimes coming to therapy is just that support. Like, you not judging me, you know, simple as that, right?
Somebody I can talk to that ain't
you
judging me. Somebody
Right.
I can confide in that's not judging me. That's not gonna go back and tell all my business.
Mm-hmm.
Or make fun of me and all that kind of stuff. So like,
Yeah. Make me
it's
feel
a
bad because I
combination.
feel this way.
Right.
You know, or make me feel bad for having these thoughts.
And that's why I think that group therapy would come into play, because you're there with people that are like you and going through the same things that you're going through, and you're seeing how they cope with it, and you can pick up something from them and they can pick up something from you, and then it can be a supportive
That's
thing
what we do in
that
our
helps you.
lupus support group.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was the first breakthrough I saw as an intern. I was doing a bipolar group, leading a bipolar group, and two women there was talking, and one of them was talking about how she couldn't keep a job, and I lost another job, blah 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 blah. And the girl next to her turned around and said, "You too?" They was like, they hugged each other from that one small experience, right? Because
they
now
connected.
I know you get what I'm saying. Group therapy.
Yeah. I thought I thought it was just me. I thought I was all alone in this. You mean you feel that way too? Yeah.
But like I say, it's hard to take serious if you haven't been around or know someone who's actually been in it. Because we made a joke out of it,
10 things you think are normal but are actually bipolar disorder. 1. Extreme irritability and anger, often beyond typical mood fluctuations. 2. Euphoric moods that emerge spontaneously and without a clear cause. 3. A consistent struggle to maintain stable relationships due to emotional instability. 4. Sudden unexplained bursts of energy that disrupt normal daily functioning. 5. Inconsistent ability to get out of bed, varying from excessive sleepiness to complete inability. 6. Engaging in self-injurious behaviors as a coping mechanism for emotional distress. 7. Repeated patterns of self-sabotage, disrupting personal and professional life. 8. Highly irregular sleep patterns, including prolonged periods of both insomnia and oversleeping. 9. Experiencing dissociation, delusions and hallucinations detaching from reality. 10. Feeling overly confident and invincible at times, then a profound sense of emptiness or sadness without any apparent reason or trigger.
And so I feel like it's like you say, Nelly, so many of that 10 that he named, quite a few of us can probably identify with 6 of them. So it's easily misdiagnosed. So I can see how, but George pretty much everything that old 10, George pretty much experience, so he seriously, they diagnosed him right with it. Where you and I may have 6 to 7, 6 of them, and then, but until you actually know somebody that's seriously been diagnosed with it, you don't understand it, because how we used to always say, use schizophrenia, you got schizophrenia, you just that good at crazy as hell, and so especially like the females that act like this. I don't know if Austin ever experienced this, but
baby, I love you so much. I love you too. You mean the world to me. You too. Don't touch me. Go away. Leave now. I don't want to see you ever again in my life. Just go. Just go away. Leave. Leave me alone. Babe. Come back, baby. I missed you. Okay. I love you so much. Oh, I can't stand you. You're annoying.
Bruh. It's like that with women that ain't bipolar.
I just was about to say that. And I was going to mention that earlier, because that's another component that we have to consider, is that women have hormonal changes throughout the month, right? And all that. And so she can flip shit at any moment because she ovulating, she in pain, she's swollen.
Yeah,
Like,
that's tough though.
Situations of that, right? That could be
Yeah.
seen as bipolar, but it's not. It's just hormonal changes. You know what I'm
Man, a
saying?
woman
So,
is just a mental illness. No, I'm just kidding.
I ain't gonna
Hey, you
laugh at
got a
that. I
point.
didn't laugh.
A lot of them are.
I didn't laugh
I
at that. I'm
missed
not
that
laughing.
one. What did he say?
good job,
We ain't
George.
gonna tell you.
Mm-hmm. Talking about women with mental illness. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Call your wife and tell her what you said about her.
I'm glad she downstairs. She ain't here.
But you
Kids
know,
these days got diseases I ain't never even fucking heard of. I'm bipolar. That means I have two personalities. You could have never told our mothers no shit like that. Mama, I'm bipolar. I got two personalities. Well, both you motherfuckers go in there and clean that goddamn room. And it better not take that long since there's two of you, goddammit. I'm schizophrenic. I hear voices. That's me, motherfucker. Clean that goddamn room. These kids are fucking soft. Leave them in the car in the summer and they die. What type of shit is that? We got left in the car in the summer and we didn't die. Because we had sense enough to get out the fucking car. It's hot. We're in the car. We're going to die. Not me. I'm getting out the car. Mama said don't get out. Well, I take the whooping, but I'm getting out the fucking car. She can't catch me. I got two personalities. Fuck that shit.
So we made it's like I say it's a joke until you know somebody that you care about that's in it. So
you know, one of the dumbest things I ever had somebody tell me, my former brother-in-law, who's a damn fool, gonna ask me one day, why you want to be bipolar? Now his mama had breast cancer. Yeah. His mama had a double mastectomy and breast cancer. I said, well, why did your mama want to have cancer? Couldn't say
and
shit.
he didn't fight you after that.
He gonna get his ass whooped. Why? Why you gonna fight me because I'm right? Because you can't handle the truth. You can't handle somebody come back at you. That was a stupid ass thing he said to me. Why you want to be? Why do your mom want to have cancer?
Yeah.
Seriously, that's how stupid his statement was.
Yeah, it's the same question.
Same question.
But you gonna leave my mom alone, George.
Hey, he brought that on himself. I don't give a damn. I love his mama.
They don't play with that mama. That dude that you was talking to was soul.
Yeah, he pretty
about our mama.
Indeed. And from something that we talked about a little earlier too is also the concept of the church folks and again, this is no attack on anybody. Believe what you believe. I might believe different, but you can't cast out mental illness.
No,
you cannot pray away mental illness. Right?
No,
this is a long-standing issue between oppression and not getting our needs met and not being fed the right foods and all of those things, because a lot of mental illness also is a fractioning of the brain because of the conditions that we've had to go through, the things that we've had to do in order to try to protect ourselves and survive this game. Right. I tell every Black person, and I know it might be across the board. I know we're not a monolith. However, if you Black, pretty much 99% of the time, you have something going on, because we deal with racism every single day. How much energy does it take for you to walk out your house every day and have your head on a swivel? Worrying about if somebody gonna be racist, worrying about if your life is in danger, like that. Living that kind of hypervigilance does damage to your body. It does damage to your mind. Like that's a lot.
And when I was reading, as what others said too, that it stems from what we seen growing up, what we went through growing up.
Yeah.
That contributes over like 60% of that disorder.
That's right.
And then I often think about how I can see how you could say you probably, you have a lot of those symptoms because of how you grew up, what was said to you, what you had to wait every day to deal with, to try to avoid, and it can create that. You want to be happy, and then you said this before we even start talking about mental illness. You'll be enjoying yourself, happy with the family, and then think about something that mom said and instantly get depressed, and they over in there doing the electric slide, and you having a depression moment. So I can see you thought that, hey, I am bipolar, because you have, like, if it's 10 symptoms, you got 8.5 of those symptoms. You missing it by a little you know, than by not.
Yeah, and people don't understand. It's like when because I'm a rapid cycler.
Yeah, yeah,
That cycling wears my ass out.
yeah. It's
Just
exhausting.
even a half day, I don't do anything. Just that cycling, just knowing, damn, I'm manic, damn, I'm this, damn, I'm
Mhm.
cycling, damn, I'm on my meds, I'm in therapy, but the shit's still going on. That's
Right,
exhausting and painful.
right.
So you got a lot of people living with severe pain every day, but they trying to function.
They're trying to
You know,
function.
so
I
yeah.
do it every day.
Every day, huh? Mm-hmm.
Every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So people take that for granted. I think that's what pisses a lot of us off too. You know, one thing that infuriates me is people that don't have any physical problems or mental problems. They take it for granted. I got both, and if I can
Yeah.
get off my ass and still struggle and grind, I don't have tolerance for somebody. I just got into an argument yesterday, a
Mm-hmm.
screaming cussing match with somebody
Right.
about how I'm pissed off by seeing a bunch of nothing niggas with nothing wrong with them, no mental illness other than being ignorant, sitting up here ganging the system, taking it for granted. Because here's my thing. I imagine if I imagine my life if I didn't have the health problems I had, if I didn't have the mental illness I
Right.
had. For a long time I thought,
Right.
man, where would I be? But I'm in a hell of a place to deal with what I'm dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Glory be to
So, you
God.
know, exactly. Exactly. And to me, for me, prayer has been part of my recovery. But it's not for everybody. Everybody ain't a believer. And you can't make people feel bad because they don't believe. Because if you could pray stuff away, nobody be sick.
So how you
Yeah.
know? How do you know? And we all be
We,
millionaires.
we all be rich, white, and healthy.
I would
Yeah,
not be
you
white.
gotta know. You know how
I
you
have
gotta know
white
how to
privilege,
pray.
but I wouldn't
Say
be
so.
white.
Yeah, yeah. I would just,
I'll indulge in my white privilege, but I'm
So,
Right,
still
right. Yeah.
out to the people.
so
Right.
do churches really still feel that way, or
Yes.
still believe that
For
way?
the most
Yep.
part. Now, I mean, there are outliers. There are some churches that are trying to change that thing, right? I follow up pastor who is very, very outspoken, even about spiritual things versus religious things, right? And all that. And so there is some change happening slowly and all that, but we need to continue to have conversations. It is hard for Christianity to adopt, this thing of oh, here's my mental health or mental illness, because um we have this all good things come from God, all bad things are evil mentality, right? And that takes the onus and the responsibility off of us. So if something bad is happening to me, it can't possibly be that something's wrong with me and my functioning. It's got to be the devil,
It's the
right?
enemy. This is what they
Not like,
call it, the enemy.
right? Oh, it's just that enemy. No, 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 no. Here are some conditions. Here are some things, right? And so I have a problem with that portion of the thing, that we don't take the onus for ourselves, right? You
Right.
know, George has faith as well, but he been busting his ass to take care of himself, right? And so we need to give George props, for taking care of himself, and not to be, because just the Lord. No, he had to
And
make some
doing the
choices.
work,
And
Yeah.
and
Some
everything.
I
choices
really
that
can't wait
Spirit
till we
helped to
can.
lead him in the right directions, right? But he had to make those choices.
I really can't wait until we get into this spirituality and religion
Yeah,
conversation.
Please do
because
Right.
that.
Johnson
Please
used
do
to
what it
bring
is. I'm down for
the
that one.
church, and for him
I
to be
already did. I
questioning
did one
things
show
like
already.
I question, I'm curious. So yeah, we're gonna have that conversation soon. Because
Yep.
You know
And
the
I
thing,
already
and the thing is how you is how you
if y'all want to look at that one.
it's how you approach the spiritual part. Because when I spoke at a church a few years ago, they gave me the pulpit, they let me talk, and I said, "Look, prayer is good, but if your pastor telling you not to take your medicine, you a damn fool."
Thank you. It's
You should have
that.
seen the mouths drop open. They like, I can't believe he just said that. Why not? It's the truth.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I'll say it again.
The truth. See, here's the thing: the truth is not designed to make you feel good. To quote a
It's
very
not.
good friend of mine, it's not. And a lot of people in the church still not ready to hear the truth.
That's the
Now, it ain't
problem.
got nothing to
No,
do with God.
I
It's
don't.
got to
I
do.
don't. I don't think it's that they're not ready to hear the truth. They're not ready to accept the truth
Right.
because they have things that are going on in their lives that they have to believe that the preacher can help pray, the
Yeah.
congregation can help pray these things away because they have no other way that they can feel like they can deal with it.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. It's called cognitive dissonance. When something is shaking your very belief system, like your mind be like, what the because everything is built on that belief system, right? So if I believe this thing to be true over here that crashes my belief system, now what do I do? If praying it away don't work, then now what do I do? Right? If I can't call on the pastor to do this thing and make it better, then now what do I do? You know, right? Because
I've been lost faith in the past.
And what you do, what I would tell somebody to ask me that question.
What to do, George?
I'll tell you what to do. You get off your ass, you research your condition, you go to the doctor, and you treat yourself.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do. You pray while you're taking your medicine.
Yeah, and don't put out no faith in no man. I don't care if it's your pastor or not. You don't put faith in man.
Right.
You know, you could come to therapy. We can talk about Jesus if you want to, but we also want to talk about what you need to actually do to work on getting better.
Well, Jesus said, "A man don't work, don't eat, and prayer without work is dead."
It's dead. Absolutely. Yeah.
And the thing is, in being bipolar, there's a tremendous amount of pressure on me that most people don't have. I'm expected to function, especially in a role that I've chosen for myself. I'm expected to function no matter what's going on with me mentally. You know, Chanel knows it because she'll know. But I have to keep certain things on the download to not jeopardize what I got going. That's a tremendous amount of pressure on me. So a lot of people that are dealing with mental illness that choose to not, stay and sustain poverty, they want to try to be entrepreneurial. You have to deal with that on top of everything else. And you have to be careful how much you divulge about your condition to people, because people will weaponize it against you.
Absolutely.
You could just, like, there have been times I just been having a shitty day, just in bad mood. Oh, it's your bipolar acting up. No, bro, it's because you being, bro, it's you being an asshole. That's what it is. That's why I'm acting like this. It ain't got nothing to do with bipolar.
Boundary.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
George clown last week.
The same thing that women deal with. You must be on your period. No, like, stop being an asshole. You know? So like
you just being an asshole.
Right. And I know I clowned last week. I wasn't manic or nothing. That was just me. That was just me last week. That was just how I am.
You just be emotional.
Dang, I hate I missed it.
I mean, when you can't talk about them kids, then George don't have. When George stop having passion, when you talk about them kids, then I'm gonna worry.
Yeah.
He was off. But you don't talk about the kids.
The other important component, like George was saying earlier, and you too, Black, like, and it's not just romantic relationships, right? It's any relationship. I consider George to be my brother, my little brother, right? And so I talk to George every single day. And so he check in, I'm gonna check in on him. If it used to be that when he would get online in the middle of the night and do a Facebook Live in the middle of the night, I'd be like, you manic? And he'd be like, no, I just had something on my mind. Oh, okay, cool. Right. But then there's no judgment. That's me checking in because I see the pattern difference, right?
Right.
And all that. And it can be exhausting. Sometimes the judge is sending me, his whole book. And I'm like, my ADHD ass is not gonna read all that.
Yeah, that's why I started doing voice recordings. Yeah.
Right, sometimes we do voice recordings.
It's much easier to just listen.
Honest, we was gonna talk the other day, and he's like, call me when you get a chance. And I had to be honest, like, I don't have the wherewithal to actually be on the phone. Let's just do this, right? And stuff like that. So it's a matter of somebody understanding and seeing who you are, right? And accepting you.
What can a friend do?
Yeah.
Like you see how you say you can notice a pattern, or you notice when he's his patterns are different, or you notice when certain things. So what advice can you give? Like, what can somebody that knows somebody that may have bipolar or know they got bipolar? How do you show up for them? How do you support them?
YouTube. I'm finna explain. Educate yourself. YouTube they got some wonderful videos about bipolar disorder, the symptoms, how to deal with it, people giving their testimony. You got YouTube, you got the internet. The main thing you can do for somebody you love is dealing with a mental illness or even a physical condition is educate yourself about it. Yeah. Then if that's really your friend, everything will fall in place. But the more knowledgeable you are, the more empathetic, the more understanding you are about something, because one thing I always do with people, and this is what makes my advocacy game so strong, I always ask the person, what are they feeling? I put myself in their shoes.
There you go.
And until you
Right.
do that, you can't be a good friend and not know how to
Yeah.
do that. You can't be a spouse and not know how to do that. You can't be a parent and not know how to do that. So
Right.
that's the thing. Humble yourself enough to put yourself in another person's predicament and see what they're going through. And I swear, once you start doing it, it'll make you so much more empathetic, and it'll build your compassion toward people.
Yeah.
Especially when
And
you
it's okay
realize you
to ask.
can't, you can't walk a mile in somebody else's shoes.
And
You
here's the
could
thing,
go an inch.
right?
It's okay to ask though. It's okay to be like, hey Joe, do you need anything particular today? How are you feeling? Oh, well, I'm a little manic right now. Is there anything I can do to help? Right. So like being sincere, and if he say, yes, this is what I need, then I need to be available to do what, because I asked what he needed, right? And
Yeah.
stuff like that. And if it is not within my capacity, I'm honest and say, hey, I can't do this for you, but how about I do this? Would this help in any way? Right.
Right.
And stuff. So like having that compassion and just asking the questions like, what is it that you need from me? Be it today, tomorrow, right?
Right.
And sometimes it's not much. Sometimes it's just be open to listen to me, right? You
Mm-hmm.
know, sometimes it's just I just need to be able to text somebody all day long and get this off of my chest or get it out of my system because I'm feeling manic and I don't want to go do no stupid shit, right?
Right.
So it'll help me to be able to get this out of my body and just, all right, cool. I'm gonna just be. I ain't gonna read all that shit though, right? I don't care about that. Just let me text you. you
Yeah.
know.
And yeah, and the thing is, like with bipolar, on average, it takes about 10 years to find a cocktail of medications that work.
It
In the
might work.
meantime,
Yeah.
man, one time I was on like 11 different psych meds.
Mm-hmm.
I was on like 11. Right now, I probably take about 17 medications a day between the mental health stuff and the physical stuff.
But
And I ain't
yeah, I
afraid to
take a
talk
lot of
about it.
medication too. Yeah, me too. I take a
17.
lot too.
Yeah. And that's a chore to keep up with that anyway.
In a way, yeah.
Yes,
So,
that in itself,
and
having to
that's the
deal with the
job.
side effects of each medicine.
Thank you.
Right. And then not to mention, most people with mental illness, I found, this is just my personal experience. I don't have any statistical data on this, but you pretty much go inpatient 1 or twice a year. You're gonna go inpatient once or twice a year. If for no other reason, that cocktail of medications will stop working and
Yeah.
something will happen and they'll have to get you in the hospital inpatient to get stabilized again.
Right. Yeah.
Now, being inpatient in a mental health ward it's not like you think it is. See, that's the thing. Too many people have preconceived notions of what it looks like.
They
If I
gonna
tell
put you in a
somebody,
straight jacket.
right, yeah, if I tell people I'm manic, some people gonna think, oh, he frothing at the mouth. He might slit your throat. Oh man, I just need to burn off some energy. I just need to
Energy,
keep the
yeah.
dust.
Yeah.
And it's like I've never been in a straitjacket. I've never seen anyone in a straitjacket. All the times I've been in the hospital, nobody's doing all the stuff you see in the movies. It's just a place to try to get stabilized so you can go home and get back to your life.
That's it.
And that ties into what I want to do as far as legislation at some point to deal with people in the workplace with mental illness, because hey, we need to have a special bank. If you got a diagnosable mental illness, you should have more days to call in. Hey, I got to go inpatient for a week. I'm sorry. Y'all just have to catch me next week.
Right.
Well, certain
And even if
jobs
you
now,
don't have it,
certain
you
jobs
should
have
still be
that
able to
now.
take a day.
Yeah, the
Everybody should be
ADA.
able to take a day.
Certain jobs have that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually
Yeah,
there's things
but
you can use with your FMLA because I fill out paperwork for that for my clients if they are overly stressed or they struggling.
yeah,
Let's
but
get
for
some paperwork together so that
for
you can
people
be
with mental illnesses or some type of disabilities, you get more. You like she said, it's similar to the FMLA, but it start with an A. I can't think of the name of it. But
Well,
the job offered that now.
American Disabilities Act.
The ADA, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's the agency that protects you.
Right.
FMLA is the documentation that you have to get filled out so that you can actually take the days without
Take
penalty.
off. Right. The other one gives you more leniency to they acknowledge you're acknowledging that you have a situation. And certain jobs honor that now.
Right.
You get penalized for not being there. Your attendance doesn't count like the normal people attendance that don't have that paper.
And it
You
should.
can do that when you have children that has disabilities or you have a disability. That's what that's in place for.
I'll tell you one thing that's a pet peeve of mine. This doesn't happen to me that much, but when you tell someone you have a mental illness and they automatically assume you're somehow less intelligent than them, that you're somehow diminished as far as your capacity to understand, comprehend, and articulate. That's what I got a problem with. Don't think I'm dumb because I got a mental illness. 'Cause I'm gonna have to show you something. So we need to get over that. There's plenty of people with PhDs, laureates, with mental illnesses, not just bipolar, and that doesn't impede their function. So I see that a lot. You hear somebody some people automatically assume, well, they can't be that intelligent, they can't be that articulate.
You know why? Because people think that all functions of the brain function the same, and if you got a dysfunction of the brain, then it must be affecting your ability to learn and understand. That's the different parts.
Right.
You know.
But the question I have for George, with his newfound relationship, when you told her about your everything, because you said when you met her, you just opened up and told everything.
I really didn't have to. I really did. I don't think I've actually said to her, "Hey, I'm bipolar." I don't think what I told her when I first met. I said, "Google me." I said everything you want to know about me. I said, and I wasn't saying it to be cocky, but I said if you Google me, you put my name in Google, you put my name in YouTube, you'll see everything about me.
My life is public.
My life is public, very public, maybe too public, because that does cause issues a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I can't worry about that. I got to focus on my purpose, which is trying to help people. I can't stop what God got me on, what I've been on for 7 years.
That's right.
Because anybody has a problem with it. You got a problem with it. I'm not gonna hold nobody here that don't want to be here. You can either deal with me as a person. But I think the thing is, I think the difference in this relationship that I'm in now, I gave her enough time to see me as who I was.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was gonna ask you
when
that
you go out in your I want to be by myself modes, how does she handle that, or have you been on that mode yet since y'all been together?
Our relationship, she values her time, and I value my me time. So there's certain hours we like, baby, I'm finna go do my thing. You do your thing, whether it's watching Netflix or chilling. I'm finna listen to some music. Hey, call me at such and such. That's how we do. Like usually in the evenings, but she gets home by 7, between 7 and 10. She do her time. That's her time. We get on the phone by 10 o'clock. So that helps a lot. I think it keeps the relationship healthier. I think it keeps you from getting sick of somebody.
That's true.
And it allows you to maintain who you are. It allows you to because a lot of times people get in a relationship, they lose who they are. Well, you used to you stop doing this, you stop doing that because for the sake of a relationship. And anytime you can maintain that, that's a healthy relationship. But I could not be in a healthy relationship had I not gone through the past 2 years. And Chanel knows what I'm talking about. This time 2 years ago, I was homeless.
Yep.
But I was still running my nonprofit, still managing campaign, but I was on the street. So that takes a certain fortitude. I kept going. I keep fighting. I'm a fighter. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna let this break me.
Yeah.
So, but that's something that anybody that fuck with me gonna have to know. You know what I'm saying? So in this relationship, it's going good. We communicate. That's what makes a difference. We're gonna talk stuff out. And like I said, my main thing, despite the mental illness, despite the addiction and all that, that doesn't define who I am. It defines where I've been, what I've been through, but it's not who I am.
Right. Yeah.
So you just got to be your real self. And
but
to
piggyback off what George was saying, the same way with me and my health issue. I have to let people know I got lupus. There are bad days. See, y'all wouldn't have known last week I was having a bad day. And a week before that, I was having a bad. Hell, it's been a bad 5 months for me. But I still have to keep going. So whereas where now you could physically look at me and know something is wrong with me. At first, you couldn't. And that's how mental illness is. You can
what do they see now?
Visible. It's hard.
And you can be very, very well visibly now. I'm having a hard time walking.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? But at first, I looked fine.
Mm-hmm.
So is
So,
there?
but
Do you
mental
have
illness
pain
is the
meds or
same
something
thing.
for that?
I haven't had a pain-free day since 2008. In all
Oh
honesty,
wow. Oh
I
wow.
have lupus and arthritis,
Mm.
really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it like mental illness can't define you. That can't define me. That can't stop me. I work side jobs, side gigs with my disability too, because like he said, it's not enough. You
Mm-mm.
see, it's not enough. And on
Yeah, you
top of
gotta
that,
have a hustle.
then on top of that, it's like I think, like he said, I think about what would have been, right? What could have been. But then I
And
have
that's
to thank
depressing
God for
within
what
itself.
is. You have to thank God for what is, because God
That's right.
prepared you for such times as these. There's a reason why you went through what you went through them last 2 years, George. There's
Yeah.
a reason why I go
Yeah.
through what I go through. You see what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so if we could share our testimony, glory be to God. Because like I
Right.
say, people will look at you and you'll have mental illness and it may not show. Oh, you
Right.
may be good at hiding it.
I
You
tell
Mm-hmm.
you
may
that.
be good at
Yeah.
wearing a mask.
I'm glad. I'm
Right.
so
You
glad you brought that
understand?
up because the best liars and manipulators are people with mental illness. Because you know what? That's our survival
You can't
mechanism. We got
mask.
to lie and manipulate just to survive. We got to
Yeah.
sit there and tell people I'm okay, knowing we all fucked up. We got to
Right.
keep going no matter what's going on. We had to manipulate just to get some peace and get people off our ass. And I had to learn that at 7 and 8. Man, George,
Mm.
you can't say this to somebody. Now I don't give a damn. But imagine living 40 years knowing you can't really be open about how you feel because you worried about how people gonna see you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It feel like prison.
Oh yeah, it's a mental
Mhm.
prison, especially and the mental illness part for me has been easy. It's the addiction that makes people take a double take. I'm like, I've been sober over 7 years, bro. That's not
Mm-hmm.
who I am no more. But people gonna
Right.
have those preconceived notions. Oh, you just 2 seconds away from rolling up the window and snorting your brains out. Man, I don't think about this stuff. I'm thinking about how I can get this come up by doing some speaking. I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
about my nonprofit, how I can do something to help people. But people have those preconceived notions about you.
Mm. And I think if people start looking at addiction outside of drugs, because I've been having this conversation all week about, addiction is a place for you to hide from the pain, right?
Right.
Some of us overwork. Some of us go to school too much. Some of us
Some
think
of
that
us
we
go to the gym too much.
thank you. Like some of us go to the gym too much. Anything that you're using to hide the pain is the addiction, right? It's just that
Hmm.
we frown upon drugs, right? Because they're illegal and shit. you know,
Right. And the thing is, we all addicted to something. Something.
absolutely.
Everybody.
Because
But the thing
everybody,
Sugar
is,
is mine.
the
like say he
yeah.
ain't got no addiction, but he addicted to music.
Yeah, but when you have a mental illness and you fall into substance abuse, the reason why it's usually so difficult to get off because when you take that hit or whatever it is you're using, it's like the mental illness goes away.
You go,
It's
yeah,
like it
Yeah.
melts the pain
Yeah.
away.
yeah,
Yeah. And
Yeah. So
it's like that didn't happen.
yeah,
right. But I tell you the key
That
to
didn't
addiction.
happen.
I tell you the key to ending addiction to somebody, at least addiction on substances.
right.
Deal with that trauma that's really got you using in the first place.
Oh no, that worked for all the addictions. That worked for all of
Yeah,
them.
that was for all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for about a year. I could not look at myself in the mirror. I walk past the mirror, I look down. That's how bad off I was. Until I said, George, you got to get off this shit. You got to do something. And I made myself look at myself in the mirror because I was by myself in my house for a month when I got off the cocaine. I locked myself in my house for a month. Just
Oh
did
wow.
all the mental work, all the spiritual work to get myself at least on a path where I could get to this point. But until I dealt with those little boy issues I had
Yeah, you got to heal inner
from
George.
from from an emotionally abusive father and
Mm-hmm.
from poverty. Man, we used
Hmm.
to have man. We used to have to steal firewood to keep on in the winter. We didn't have no lights for a year. We didn't have no running water. We used to have to walk behind the gas station, fill up milk jugs to have water. Man, I done seen some shit. So
Yeah.
until I
I
was
grew up in
able
a
to,
project.
right, and then I'm from South Memphis, Parkway and Lauderdale. So the thing is, until I dealt with the issues and the trauma from that, man, my addiction wasn't going nowhere. It's gonna sit right on my lap, say, baby, I got you.
Yeah, yeah. And any of the trauma,
Look,
the
come on,
things
come
that you
on.
went through,
That's
the
just like
fear.
them hot Cheetos and stuff. They be calling me,
Right.
or that cupcake. It be calling me.
Yeah, be
You know
calm.
that them airheads be calling me.
And you
Right.
know what it says when it calls you?
Mm.
I can make you
I'm
feel.
make it feel good.
Feel better.
I
I'm
make
gonna
you
make
feel
it
better.
all better.
I take the pain away for a minute. At least while I'm in your
It's
system,
for
you're
right
gonna be
now.
okay.
Right.
And
You're
honestly,
willing.
when I'm
You're
eating
willing
on them
just for a
ounce of
moment.
for even if it's a momentarily moment of fuck it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And see,
We
the
all
thing
look
is,
for peace.
when you're bipolar, you crave that piece of like. I'm an advocate for cannabis use. Okay,
Absolutely.
just no lie, because at least that will kind of alleviate my symptoms for a while, physically
Wow.
and mentally. I use it responsibly, but yes, I do use it.
Right.
So that's people say, well, how are you sober and you smoke weed? Man, come on.
They people
Don't come to me with that. You can't
don't
compare
understand
weed to
about it.
cocaine.
Don't talk to those people. Don't talk to them.
Yeah, I don't talk to those people. I block them. So but
And
everybody.
it's not that you use you suck to one for the other. That's
Right.
not how I look at weed. You
Right.
know, and people think they say it's a gateway. No,
Trauma
it
is a
can
gateway.
be.
Trauma is a gateway, not and
Right,
there's no drug that's a
right. That's
gateway.
what I was just gonna
Trauma
say.
is your
It's
gateway.
something
It's
It's those
behind
who
it.
abuse it, just like with alcohol. Anything you abuse is a problem. So I even though
That's
people try to,
gluttony.
everybody likes
Food.
to smoke weed, it's from the earth, as they say, but the chemicals and things that they're mixing in the weed that you guys are getting now is not the same as the weed
Well,
them
It's
the
not
thing
the
persons
is,
were
same
don't,
weed.
using
don't,
in the
don't.
70s and 80s.
This is what my doctor
Not the
told me.
same.
This is what my doctor told me. Last time I saw him, he said, George, don't buy street weed. He said, go to
Yeah,
a dispensary, get you some gummies. They got the THC drinks now.
there you go.
So you don't have to
Yeah.
risk your health smoking stuff with embalming
And
fluid
they
in it.
put fentanyl in that street stuff now,
Are they
so
been
y'all
doing
be
it?
careful.
Are they been in
and
Memphis?
put phenol in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to be careful too with substance because I know during my addiction, Craig Pettis, I don't know y'all know who that is, got arrested in Memphis, so cocaine dried up. So they just started cutting it with heroin.
Mm.
Or
Yeah,
rap for you had some low down drug dealers. See, it used to be back in our day, the drug dealers would cut it with heroin, but now these motherfuckers cutting it with rat powder. Rat poison. They
Baby
don't care if
laxative.
they kill you. Yeah, they don't care if they kill you. They cutting it with stuff that's gonna go in. You inhale, it's gonna chop up your body from the inside out. They don't care what they cut
And,
with now. Ain't no shame in the game no more.
and this how you know
No
you bad off in
loyalty.
this one little nuance thing. This how you know you bad in your addiction. When you think you friends with your dealer, oh, you in too deep. When you think that nigga's your friend,
They don't care about
mm-mm.
you.
He don't care about you. He don't, I had one dude I dealt with. One dude.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
brought it to the house. I didn't have to do nothing. I just called, bring me a 60 pack. All right. Hour later, he there. So it's also a matter of proximity. It's also a matter of accessibility. So that's why a lot of times when you get to rehab from drugs or mental illness, you need to move.
You got to move. You
You
got to get
can't,
away.
especially with dealing with a mental illness. If you around all those same triggers and you try and decipher that, it's not gonna work. You got to
You
move.
cannot
You got to get
heal
away.
the same place where you got broken.
Right. You can't do that. You can't stay in that same place geographically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. You got to get up and move your ass and get to something different. See something different. Otherwise, you're gonna say, Steve, nobody I know. Well, I don't know that many people that actually beat addiction now that I think about it, because when I went back to Memphis last weekend, the folks I used to hang with still doing the same stuff.
The same thing.
But unless you move and get out that environment, especially in terms of mental health, those same triggers, you're gonna fall into this same trap over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. I got 10 o'clock and I gotta go because I got stuff to do.
Yeah, me
So
too. I got to run, y'all.
Peace. You know how we do it. Nelly.
All right. I'm finna run off too, man. I got to run, but y'all, this was a good show. I appreciate y'all.
All right. Any last words, George, about the addiction and what you want to tell them about the bipolarism?
Be patient and honest with yourself. Those are two things that we owe ourselves: is patience and honesty. And when we get to the point where we can truly embrace patience and truly be honest and self-assess ourselves and be aware. Once you do that, then you can pretty much overcome anything, any trauma. But it starts with accountability, it comes with honesty, and it comes with putting in the work along with the prayer. So
So
it's a multi-tiered
do you
approach.
take the meds faithfully, or
Oh yeah,
you take
you have to. You have to. If you're not taking your meds faithfully, you're a damn fool.
right. You can't say, "Oh, I'm feeling better. I don't need them no more." Well, you feeling better because you taking them.
Right.
But I'm saying, don't they have you sometime in a zombie mode, or you didn't get
You got to
past
get
it?
used to it. The reason why people stay in a zombie mode, this is what happens with people when they get on psych meds. They start on it, 2 weeks later they feel bad, and then they stop it. Well, it takes about a month to 6 weeks for the medicine to fully get acclimated into your system. People impatient, and then they so used to being in a messed up state that the drugs normalize them, and it freaks them out. It's like, wait a minute, I'm feeling normal. Wait a minute, this is not what I'm used to, so they stop it because they get used to the feeling of dysfunction. But you got to take your meds. If somebody tell me that I taking their meds, I can't do nothing for 'em. I don't even want to talk to them.
You
That's
see,
why I
I
ask.
don't like. See, I'm just like I say. So far, I've been blessed not to have to be on any meds or anything. But I'm a go getter. When I'm running. I don't even. I may get 4 hours of sleep if that, and I'm back up.
Mhm.
Uh, I can't take something that's gonna have me not turned up, not wanting to do something. I can't.
This
So
what you do.
I
What you
would
do?
struggle. I would struggle if I had to do it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. That's when you go to your doctor and you say, "Hey, this making me feel tired. Can we try something else?" And people
So
too
they
lazy to
have
do that.
regular, normal, without making you feel just there.
Oh
I can't
yeah,
do that.
yeah, they
Yeah.
do. They got some good
Yeah.
new stuff out. See, I was on lithium for years. It worked wonderfully, but the side effects, the tremors, my tremors would be so bad I couldn't walk. But my mood was fine. But now they have a new class of drugs for mania, stuff like Depakote, Geodon, things like that. So you have your choices. So if anybody says I don't want to take my medicine because it made me feel bad, man, get off your ass and ask your doctor to find to work with you. Stop being a pussy about it, because that's what you're doing. You just
Stop
find
making
excuses. Yeah,
excuses.
stop making excuses, man. Because folks do whatever else they want to do, but when it come down to taking their medicine or taking care of their mental, physical, emotional, spiritual health, they don't want to do it. So
Okay,
that's
now when you were single, was part of the reason you was okay with being single is because you know your condition and you didn't think you'd find nobody who would
It had nothing to do with it. It had nothing to do
understand
with
it.
it. Had nothing to do with it. Just me picking a bunch of damaged ass women and not having fixed myself. I used to obsess over my bipolar every day. Oh, I'm bipolar. No, it's just something I deal with. That's all it is. It's something I manage. It's something I
So
cope
you
with.
learn to man once you learn to manage, that has a bit of problem.
Oh no! I mean, if somebody got a problem with me being bipolar, that's their problem. Because and it's just like I've been this way 40 years. My son been this way the past 13 years. All his life, his was out there, and I had custody of him as a single father. So imagine what that's like. Dealing with especially when we deal with our children with bipolar, they really need hands-on and mentoring because they have to learn how to manage their medications, manage their emotions, things like that. So I'm blessed in the fact that my son has been able to do that. But through my nonprofit Meta Association, I endeavor to make it where not only other children dealing with mental illnesses, but adults learn how to cope, learn those skills that's going to lead to their survival because bipolar kills people. It does.
Yeah, I thought you said that.
Yeah, it kills people. People die from it. It may not be.
Yeah,
It, it might.
like
It
the
might.
other ones. I think it was she named. It was like 3 people that died from that lives or died in some type of way from having that, and I just didn't think that it was you know that
Right.
serious or that detailed. I
Yeah.
knew it's a mental thing. And
But
we
the
don't
number
know
one.
what's going on in your head.
You know the number one. You know the number one death of black men with bipolar disorder. Suicide. Suicide.
They
We don't
named
talk
the
about
one
that
black
though.
guy in there.
Hmm.
I say in that joke, it was one black guy in there
Mm.
that committed suicide. And is it
Right.
because you tired of,
It's
what I
painful.
mean?
It's hell. Every day. I'm so glad I got my faith and putting the right people around me because every day is hell. Mentally. When I wake up, I pray. Wake up to pray at 3 o'clock every morning. But I know there's certain things I'm gonna have to do today, and certain things I'm not gonna be able to do. It's hard to manage. It's hard to manage, because I can't lay around all day. I got too much stuff to do. Y'all see how I hustle, how I grind. So
Yeah,
managing
that's
all
me. I
that,
can't live around all day.
Right.
That's
So,
all.
this is how it's just rough. So let's just try to be empathetic and walk in other people's shoes if we can and try to treat people the right kind of way. So that's all I got.
Bipolar isn't just mood swings, it's emotional whiplash. Understanding this can save so many relationships before misunderstandings tear them apart. With empathy, open communication, and patience, love can navigate even the sharpest turn. Bipolar may bring emotional highs and lows, but balance is possible through self-awareness, communication, open communication, and support. Love can flow steadily, even through the waves.
So it's out there. It's just like you say, we don't speak on it enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it's out there. So this
Or we
was a
listen, or do we be listening to the wrong people? You know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel like I'm a good person to discuss mental illness as a black man, because I've been through it. I'm living with it every day. So be careful who you get your information from. Vet who you talk to. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Because if you haven't walked this path of having to deal with chronic physical and mental illness, you'll never understand. You might can empathize, but listen to somebody that's actually living it and going through it, and glean what you can for that. And I think that'll make people more compassionate, more empathetic, and make everything better and easier for people to survive.
That's real. That's real.
All right,
All
y'all.
right.
Have a good night now. All right. See
Yeah,
y'all next week.
All right, George.
it was
All
deep.
right.
It's
Good night.
part of uh our mental health segment that we're gonna start doing once a month. Uh he chose tonight, so we'll probably do it third every third Wednesday,
Cool.
talk about that. Kurt want to talk about men's health. So we'll pick the third Wednesday of the month to do that. Hold on, let me see
Yeah.
what this is.
I'm gonna be good, baby. I promise. You hear me?
You don't mean that shit. You just running your mouth like you always do. You don't even mean that shit, Joe.
Open this motherfucking door, girl. See, that's what.
And that was dealing with a man with bipolar compared.
Baby, I love you so much. I love you too. You mean the world to me. You too. Don't touch me. Go away. Leave now. I don't want to see you ever again in my life. Just go. Just go away. Leave. Leave me alone. Babe. Come back, baby. I missed you. Okay. I love you so much. Oh, I can't stand you. You're annoying.
So that's why I say
both of those to
you
me.
have to have understanding to try to deal with people like that. And like y'all
But
say
see,
as
both of
women,
those to me, when I look at that, they look like somebody who just don't know how to regulate their emotions.
their
They don't
emotions,
necessarily
right.
have to be bipolar. It's just
Right.
somebody
But
who may not
it's a
know how to
sign, but that's a
regulate.
symptom of bipolar because there are
Right.
mood swings and
Yeah.
and it plays on emotion. Just like the guy was saying, it's an emotional swing. It's a wave. And
Yeah.
so that plays a part of it. But the videos are to show that you have to be a special kind of person to deal with that. I mean, that's not something that you sign up for. Just I'm going to be in a relationship and this person got these
Yeah.
mood swings up and down. You know what I'm saying? If
Oh
we
no, it's not for the faint.
break it down to common layman's terms of what you're understanding. Okay, and you look
Mm-hmm.
at each thing individually. Mood swings. Happy one moment, depressed, crying the next moment. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Mm-hmm.
then they want to go climb Mount Rushmore, and then the next day they don't want to get out of bed. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? They may tell you,
Right.
"Hey, tomorrow we're gonna go climb. After we got through climbing Mount Rushmore, now we're gonna go over here and do the Smoky Mountains." So then you ready to go do the Smoky Mountains, and they want to stay in the bed. You know,
Right.
so it takes a lot to deal with a person that either have mood swings like that or that's labeled with
A mental illness.
bipolar disorder. It's
I think the
not
difference is
nothing.
treated versus untreated.
Yeah, but just like I was saying, I'm not quick to get on no meds. You know what I'm saying? Um, shit. I mean, I've seen my parents and things. Mom walking around like a walking medicine bag, taking blood pressure, diabetes, thyroid. You know, I've seen all of this, and so I've been blessed thus far to not have to be on meds or anything.
But glory be
And
to
then,
God. So you make sure you take regular health checkups because if mom had it, it runs in your family.
yeah, but
You
I
see?
do. When I go and get
Yeah.
my checkup with my blood
Yeah.
pressure, I'm good. I also work out. I take vitamins. I don't eat excessive red meat. So they they did all of that. I
Yeah.
watch
Yeah.
what other people, just like when I talk to people that has this and they have that, I say, what did you do to get that? How did you get there? Oh man, I used to eat pork chops all the time. I got gout. I never had gout. And I've listened to what that person who had gout ate, and I choose not to eat that. And then I know
Okay, so
taking
let
high
me flip
doses
the
of
script with
vitamin
you.
C, taking high doses of vitamin C prevent or take away the gout. So I do that in my daily vitamins. So I take vitamins daily, but having to take like a blood pressure pill, a diabetic pill, or take an insulin shot. Thus far, I've been blessed not to have to do none of that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I
Right.
enjoy
You are
every day
blessed.
that I
Consider
haven't
yourself
had
lucky.
to do it.
Because see, my blood pressure used to run low. And so then I had weight loss surgery. And now I have to be on blood pressure medicine because ever since I got out the surgery,
Why did
I'm
you
having
do
an
the weight
issue
loss surgery?
with a rapid heartbeat, because they
Why did
wanted
you
to give
do
me
that?
surgery on my back, right? They wanted to go in and play around on my spine. And so I said, well, before I let you play around with a stimulator or a pain pump, right? I'll lose weight and see if that helps. That's what they claim, right? Oh, it's the weight. But it wasn't the weight. It was just way God made me and way between my genetic, my environment, my hereditary. It's just the damn deck of hand of cards that I was just dealt, right? Because there are some days where I feel just heavy now as I did then. And I've lost over 100 pounds. You see, so I mean, it didn't necessarily change, but it did help because now I can get up and down. I just made a video today about me on my crutches going up and down the step. You know, I had to adapt to that. I had to adapt to going from having no issue to having a plethora of issues,
Right.
and that in itself causes a mental health issue. Depression and anxiety and stuff like
Yeah.
that, right? So, even with me having chronic illness, I have to consider my mental health as well. I have to take real care of my mental health as well. Because it's easy. It's easy to fall into a bout of depression. It's easy to throw yourself a pity party. But who wants that? Do they? I mean, if we all had time to do that, that's all we'd all do. But ain't nobody got time for that.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and to hear, you know, brothers that young, what I'm saying? Because, when we were growing up, the people who were on medications were 65, 70, really in their 70s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now you have 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds taking high blood pressure pills. I'm like, like I say, and
Have a
God
heart
bless them
attack.
soul, this person, the first person I heard that was that young, I met it was a girl, and she's part of my brother's family, and I didn't know it. But we were at she worked at a Sonic, and she was leaning on the thing you push the button on the intercom thing. She was leaning on it, counting out my money, counting my change. And I say, you look like you tired. I say, a long night. She say, no, I left home trying to get to work and I didn't take my meds. I say, what meds are you on? She said, I have high blood pressure. This girl like 20 years old. And I was like, how the hell you got high blood pressure 20 years old? Then they were saying, you know, it's hereditary. But even with our grandparents and parents, they still didn't get it until they were,
late onset.
60 years old,
Yeah,
60.
they were late onset. Yeah, it was late
Yeah,
onset.
so why is it the food? How does a
It is.
20-year-old get high blood pressure?
It's
And have to take
and the coping mechanisms or lack thereof. See, a lot of people I understand, but I mean, the mental illness, I understand it so much so because it's like even with a chronic illness, I had to give the old me a funeral to adapt to the new me. Right.
Yeah.
So I done been through
Girl,
times where I've had depression. So I understand it.
a lot of people don't understand that, and I try to preach that to the ones that I'm gonna say, let's just say somebody who let's just say 30 years old, because that's a good turning point between 30 and 35. That's an excellent turning point. That's where men, we have to sit down at 35 and say, okay, if you're not a man by now, it's time for you to become a man. And also at 35, you still feel like you should be able to move around and move like you did at 25, right?
Right.
So where the depression kicks in is when that person get diagnosed with an illness, whether it's high blood pressure, whether it's diabetes, whether it's congestive heart failure, like George was saying, whether it's heart issues, and you seeing everybody your age, your peers, your 30-year-olds, your 35-year-olds, where them fans at, throwing the fans up, and they doing their thing, but you can't. So, like you said, burying the old you and adapting to the new you, and when you fail to do that, that creates more health issues.
More health issues. Because
And
ain't no pain like a depression pain.
Yeah.
Depression hurt to the bone. See, and it ain't no narcotic you could take or nothing that you could take that's gonna heal that.
But what I tell the wife all the time. Okay, he got a lot of people that praise, I guess, on a downfall or whatever. But I stay away from things that may depress me. Okay, like let's just say if it's this person that's always in competition with me and they're winning all the time, and when I go, they winning, or they'll post something that'll make me feel some type of way. Guess what? I stay away from it. I'm not a glutton for pain. I'm not looking to get depressed. I'm a happy-go-lucky. I'm finna do me and do my thing. So
I don't necessarily think it's being a glutton for pain. It's that you some people are able to turn it off more easily than others. Some people are able to cut the water off more easier than others. Like me, for instance, I give people way more chances than I probably should. Right? I get, but also in that I do give people enough rope to hang themselves. And then so by the time when I'm finally fed up, then I'm done. But I give people way more benefit of the doubt.
I shut them
so
off.
It may take I have it's a process for me to cut them off.
That's how the wife is. You know that song Public Enemy had out? I shut him down. Shut him down. I shut him down. I shut him down. Shut him down. I shut him down. I ain't messed up about no person breathing. You're not gonna steal my joy. You're not gonna do none of that, because I have a family now. Okay, I have a family. I
The
have
song
boys.
that comes to mind for me is it ain't nothing to cut that bitch out. You know that song?
Yeah, but
or
it is
that
to you
that
because you
Don
got that
Trip.
heart.
That Don
You
Trip
got
was
that heart.
sometimes you gotta cut off your finger to save your hand. Yeah, that junk there. I like that.
Yeah.
That's that old school.
Now that makes sense. So yeah,
Mhm.
I learned I don't go through a lot of stuff because number one, I
Keep
have
them squares
self-love.
about your circle. That's what it's called. Keep them squares about your
Where's Dr.
circle.
Sucker? All that.
Yeah.
And I used to play them songs heavily in the club, and I'm probably gonna bring them back on my little podcast thing, on my
Yeah.
little TikTok. But
That junk used to be busting.
I stay away from what make me feel some type of way. And the key to that
Right.
is learning to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you're gonna always depend on somebody else to make you feel like you're something. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't
I
think
could care less.
that ain't what that is right there though. I
I
don't think
don't know.
that's not
You gotta
self-esteem is
love yourself, man.
self-love. Self-love translates into self-esteem, right? You don't love yourself, your self-esteem, the confidence is low, right? But when that don't sometimes it's you cope with it by avoidance. That's not necessarily healthy either. You see,
Oh yeah,
sometimes
it's healthy.
sometimes in some instances there are certain things or certain people that you just can't avoid.
When I can't avoid them, they know how I feel about them because I'm an open person. But the key is I fixed it where I could care less what anybody think about me, whether it's parents, whether it's brother, sister, co-worker, classmates. I don't give a damn because I'm gonna be me, and the people that matters is the ones that's in my household. Anybody outside this house, if you're not contributing to a dime, well, a penny going in my pocket and a crumb going in my mouth,
Right.
that's how I live. And so I'm not here to impress nobody. You know, he could be doing this, he could be doing that. Yeah, but I'm doing this and I'm more successful and I'm happy. And all that at the end of the day, all that matters is I'm happy and that the people around me are well taken care of. They're satisfied, they're happy. That's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? So I never cared. But when you that kind-hearted person, you want this brotherly, sisterly love, this motherly love,
It's
and
being
you don't
kind
get
hearted.
it. You want these best friends, y'all doing like Jada Pinkett and them, going on girls trips and shit. And when you ain't got that, you sitting up there all sad, depressed. I ain't got nobody. That don't bother me.
No, see,
Of course, like my whole clique that I hung with in high school, I only hung with like 5, maybe 6 guys. And I've been trying to, let's do this, guys, let's do that, guys. But I understand that people live their own lives, and if it's meant for us to connect and hang out and do the DHP reunion, and I'm good. But if we don't, I don't care. And I got like my best friend out of the clique. This nigga be all over the world. You name a place, he'd been in Italy, Spain, wherever, Florence, that motherfucker, everywhere. But am I sitting there, oh man, I got a family, he don't, I wish I could report to you. I ain't messed up about that. Cause he doing what he doing. I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm able to talk to him and congratulate him and don't be like, man, I need to go there. Man, I ain't messed up. Hey man, yeah, man, where you at now? Like he just told
When
me,
you can be genuinely happy for somebody.
yeah. Like I talked to him Sunday. And I asked him what's they usually do a family reunion every year. So one of my other friends was at the family reunion posting pictures. So I text my best friend. I said, hey, did you go to the reunion? He said, no, I was in Colombia. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, nigga, you know what I'm saying? I said, there you go. You know what I'm saying? So he's single man and he's enjoying himself being single. I'm a married man, I'm married with children, and I am enjoying myself and he congratulates me, I congratulate him, and we love each other to death. It ain't no, man, I wish I had a family. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not,
I'm
man,
happy.
I wish I could be single and travel the world like you. You know what I'm saying? And we able to just talk about,
Right.
but
Right.
I see people who look at highlights of people on social media and look at movies and when they can't live that fairy tale, they're depressed. They doing like George said he did. They locked themselves in a house for a month because their cousin or their classmates or people they grew up with showing that they in Jamaica
That's that.
and
That's
you
that
can't and
competition
your
spirit. That's
finances because you have a family not allowing you to go to Jamaica or your health issues not allowing you to go to Jamaica. Now you 3 times depressed. I don't get
no.
depressed.
See
That's not something
that's
that's in
that
my DNA.
competition spirit. That person has some more work to do because see, you
Oh man, you froze. Is it me? No, okay. You froze.
the hand that God dealt you, right?
Yeah. And you just don't know that single person that's all over the globe when they through and they back at home,
Still, because
they probably
you
sitting there
missing
saying,
out.
damn, if I had a family to
They
come
wish
home,
they had your life.
then they not
While
gonna
you
tell
wishing
you that.
you had theirs.
Yeah, yeah. So
Exactly.
you have to
But see, you
love
have people
yourself.
that be in competition with you and you don't even know it though.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens in groups of women. That happens in groups of men, but it happens more
More with
in
women.
groups of women, you
Mm-hmm.
know. That
Just like, and we're
freaking
probably gonna talk
competition
about
with the
this.
girlfriend type shit. I don't get down like that. I mean, I'm happy for you, girl. I'm more than happy if I can help you, girl. And we had to get in here and clean up and scrub walls just to get your business up and running. That's what we're gonna do. If I gotta get in here and spend the night with you so we can come up with your business plan, that's what we gonna do. You know, you don't have that level of friendship no more. You got friends that go on trips out of town together or go to even the club together. And then oh girl, I don't know where she is. If she don't come on, she gonna get left. We don't roll like that. We barely even went to the bathroom without one another, you know.
Right.
Down, it's just how you get down, and you got to. I ain't cut from that kind of cloth, baby girl. I know you just met, and I ain't cop block. I know you just met, but she came with me, and that when I drop her off and she call you, that's on y'all. But I'm gonna make sure
Yeah,
I
you
get
that real friend.
yeah. We won't. I don't play that type of game. You see, I'm not gonna. Even if we could be out of town, right? Have a disagreement, damn near about ready to fight. I'm still not gonna leave you.
Shit, not today.
I'm not.
They gonna leave him
Cause
right
I'm gonna
there
make
high and
now
dry.
when we get back, now on the way back, it may be radio quiet. Cause I'm gonna put on the music and that bitch, I don't even fuck with you no more. You counts, right? But I'm gonna get your ass back. But after that, I'm done. But I'm not gonna leave you shredded.
Right. Today they will. This new
Yeah.
generation don't give a fuck.
Right.
You know.
How do we
So
get
yeah,
back? How do we get back to motherfuckers giving a fuck? See, it goes along with empathy, having empathy for people that you may not necessarily have to be with going through what they're going through or in their shoes or having known somebody. Just mere fact of you treat people like you want to be treated. You love your neighbors, you love yourself. Right? How hard is that?
it's not all I
It
do
don't
unto
cost a
others as
thing.
they do unto me. You treat me
You
good, I'm gonna
treat
treat you good. You fuck over me, I'm gonna fuck over
I
you.
get that. I get it. I
You know.
get it. I
I
get
believe
it.
in that eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth too now.
Yeah,
You know.
I get it. I
Yeah.
understand it. I
so
don't agree
so
with it.
that's
I
how I
don't
live.
necessarily
So if
agree
I come
with it,
in,
but I
I see
understand it.
you and I say, hey, what's happening with you? And then you give me a bullshit ass, yeah, what up, nigga? You know, and keep on kicking. I ain't speaking to you no more. Long as I live. You ain't never gotta worry about me speaking to you again.
But see, how much energy is it going to take? See, I'm the kind of person that I speak off the wop. off the gate, right? So I'm speaking, and I may speak to you twice because I forgot I spoke to you because I speak to everybody, and so it's gonna take for a person like me, it's gonna take
Right.
way more energy to not speak to you than it is to
Right.
keep speaking to you.
Shit.
It's gonna
And
take
to me,
it's
it's
gonna
less
take more
energy than even
effort.
open your mouth.
It's
Look,
gonna
that's why
take
I
more
couldn't
effort.
smoke. That's why I couldn't smoke, because I think smoking, you wasting too much energy just to inhale, exhale when you inhale, exhale every day anyway. So why inhale and exhale with damn chemicals going in you and coming
I'm
out?
gonna
That
tell you
don't
what
make
got
sense
me
to me.
smoke. Let me tell you
That
what
don't
got
make
me
sense
smoking.
to
Now,
me.
in my 20s, I dabbled with cigarettes. I couldn't do cigarettes. And so I started smoking weed, right? Weed was my friend. So I was in the hospital 30 days. Couldn't smoke weed, had no access. And I picked up a black and mild, because they had no access to the weed. And that's what got me smoking. Pain what got me smoking. See, I've noticed that like when I'm hungry or not necessarily hungry, nauseated and hungry. You see, if I smoke, I'm good. I'm okay. And see, that's part of that addiction to the black and mild, right? That I gotta cut that link. I gotta disassociate it helping me deal with the nausea, or the pain, perhaps.
Right.
So yeah, it's addictive behaviors. We all have that mechanism, that in us. It's inert, right? So when you say that people with mental health uses substances or different forms of things to be addicted to, that's a coping mechanism, and it shows up differently in everybody. Just because I may have a mental illness doesn't necessarily mean that your way of coping is helping you versus my way ain't helping me. You see, we not that different. You're not just what they say about a fat girl. You just 100 bond away from being a fat girl. Right? Well, you just one circumstance of life away from having a nervous breakdown or having a mental health crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And if we treated life like that, and we treated people like that, then of course we live the world be a more better place. I mean, it's me on my in a perfect world. I'm a realist. I know what the fuck going on. But I'm just saying, if we could get back to just being more understanding, being more patient with one another, and like you said, what advice I would give you: give yourself grace, hold yourself accountable, and give yourself grace
and that's
as
what I teach
well.
the kids. When they mad because their iPhones got taken or their PS5s get took. Instead of you being mad at mom or call yourself mad at me, what did you do to get it taken?
Right. Hold yourself
You know what
accountable.
I'm saying? I say, and if you can sit there and like my parents raised me where they asked me what did I do to get the punishment that I got.
Right.
And I'm raising mine like that because once I tell them what I did, they'll say, okay, now you know why we took the car keys, right? Yes, sir. Why? Because y'all told me to come home at 1:00
And I
and I
broke
didn't bring the
curfew.
car home till 2:30.
I
Okay.
broke curfew. That's how I
See
got
what I'm
my
saying?
keys too. It didn't
So,
hurt me.
right. But I understood and I really wasn't mad at them because at the end of the day, and then I grew up saying, that's when you hear people say, but that's my fault. They grew up in a household that made them hold themselves accountable for their actions. Okay. And many don't say that. But yeah, so I'm teaching the kids now. Was, she came in there and she hit me, or she came in there and she took my phone. I said, that's because you have the phone by your bed when she told you to put it on your computer desk.
Or better
So
yet,
when she
it
walked in there,
ain't
that
on
means
time. You don't see the phone by your bed and you supposed to be getting ready to go to bed, mean you sleeping on the phone while you supposed to be asleep. Let's just be
exactly.
real, call a spade a spade. And I've learned now to when I'm having that talk with a kid, put that in there, add that little bit to it. You ain't finessing me. You ain't trying no new trick in the book.
Right.
You know what you doing. I'm fully aware of your
Already did.
game,
I ain't
right?
too long to stop doing is what I
Right. I was a
sneaking through
kid once,
windows
so
and shit. I ain't
I
too
was a
long to
kid,
stop
and
doing it.
also I did it too, right? So I can give you a little
Right.
grace, but so that's why I'm telling you now. Don't do this again, so we don't have to have this problem no more.
And
Okay?
that's how I talk to mine. That's exactly how I talk to them.
Mhm.
I know what you're doing. You know, and I tell a lot of people, even the wife, it's like my parents also brought me up where they know, but a lot of times they just don't say nothing. Then when they do ask me something, they already know before they ask what I've been doing. And I'm like that
Right.
too. So if I know you've been doing something, I'm gonna watch, I'm gonna pay attention. Then I'm gonna say, hey, are you eating in your room? Or you know, because I done already seen the crumbs. I done seen, and so I'm gonna give you an opportunity to tell the truth. And that's why I'm not a big believer in lying, because my folks would ask me a question and I knew if they asked, they already knew the answer. So I just didn't lie. I'd rather tell the truth. I was brought up to just tell the truth and go on accept my punishment than lie, and it'd be 3 times worse because I lied. Because
Then
they
that's
like a
what the
liar.
problem is. I'm noticing with the kids is they rather lie to try to keep from getting out of trouble. But baby, the lying is what'll get you in more trouble.
They get you in more. And I had to learn that. And so I
Mm-hmm.
started telling the truth and just getting my little punishment, because when you lie, now you got to build back up that trust. And trust is the easiest thing to lose.
Yes, it is. And the hardest thing to get back.
Hardest thing to get back. And so he used to always say, like when I stole the car keys, that trust was broke, man. That trust was broke. It was gonna take a man to build that goddamn
You
trust
thought you
up.
was sneaking it out. Be like, damn, I even put more gas in that motherfucker. Still, how did they know? We
Yeah,
know.
I put the gas. I looked at where the hand was, put the gas right back. I tried to park it straight the way I
Like
seen
I
it.
found it.
Still found out. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, man, you broke that trust. Because all I had to do was ask him, though.
Yeah.
You know,
And all
and I
they
just did.
did was get up, go to the bathroom, looked around for you, and you weren't there.
I wasn't there. And it was like he
Oh,
took that
okay.
damn car. I wasn't doing nothing but going over to the girl house and finna come back home. You know, come back home about an hour. Ain't no big deal. They done went to sleep. It's 1:00 in the morning.
They
The
still
chance of
sleep.
them getting up, slim or nothing. So you put the car in neutral and you ease it all the way down to the edge of the driveway.
Then
You
you
know what I'm
crank it.
saying? Then you crank that jumper. So I was on point, but it was just that one moment where, and then that mama's intuition shit.
Yeah.
Mom felt some type of way. She got up, looked outside, saw the car was gone. And then when it's something big, she don't really deal with you. She tell Pops. He deal with you. You know what I'm saying? She tell him, And then you sneak back up in there at 3:30 in the morning thinking everything good. Everybody
Especially with
get up
them
6
boys.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? At 6 o'clock, then they want to talk to you when you get out of school. Hey, when you come home from school today, he won't
Come
talk to
straight
you.
home. Look, come
Yeah,
straight home.
like, dang, what I done? So yeah, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's my thing. Stay away from things that can set off depression. Stay away from that, man. We're gonna talk about depression
Some
on one of
things
these
are
mental health.
unavoidable though, D. Some things
Yeah,
are just
but if it's
unavoidable.
unavoidable and you know it's there, stop bothering you. Come on now.
Baby.
If you know that Sharon gonna get online and post what she got for her anniversary, And if you know that's gonna bother you, or what she got for her birthday, or where she went for her birthday, then just unfriend that motherfucker and just live your life. Get off.
Yeah, because but first of all, you need to unpack why the fuck what Sharon got going on bothers you so much.
But they do that. I mean, you know where you done been where this man buy his wife a Nissan Maxima 2025, and then Sharon husband finance 2025 BMW. Now
Them
she
happy
mad because she
both
didn't get
cars
to
are
be.
nice. Listen, you gotta count your blessings. Both cars are nice, and if you want to get fancy, both of them for them.
But if you look at the social media videos, the TikTok video, them girls mad if they ain't getting them Benzes and them BMWs, and you come with a nice ass Avalon or Nissan or something like that, they mad. So it's just that social media shit mess you up, and
And
that's a part of a
society is
lot of the
fucked up.
depression that's going on. Why so many people having mental illnesses and depression and all that shit, because social
They
media wasn't
trying to
out back
keep up
in the day.
with social media
Social media
life.
wasn't out back in the day. You competed with your
Yeah.
neighbors. Some of them did. Dang, we used to see mom and them. If you see her best friend that lived 2 doors down, get a Fifth Avenue or something, or a Cadillac. Then about 2 months later, we had a Cadillac in our yard. You know what I'm saying? So that that are the sisters in the family. One sister, the other sister go ahead and upgrade and get her a car. So we see that, friendly competition. But with you competing with strangers or classmates and y'all grown, that's just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? That's but it happens. But yeah, we got to touch on the depression, I'm sure, on one of these mental illness nights. But on that note, it's been great. I love the conversation, and I didn't know you'd be as in much pain. I had a female friend that I was talking to whose daughter had sickle cell, and she was in a lot of pain, and that was something to deal with that I couldn't
And
deal
that's
with.
from birth with that sickle cell from birth.
Yeah, and I didn't stay in that relationship. You know what I'm saying? And that's my bad, but I just wasn't ready for it. Too young.
Huh. I
That
mean,
wasn't my thing.
you probably did her a great service by bowing out early. Baby, if you ain't built for this, just bow
I
out
mean,
gracefully, then
yeah,
to play game.
yeah, because that daughter screaming and hollering, middle of the night and first things in the morning, and you don't know what to do. And what if she got to go to a doctor's appointment and I'm there left with the child and screaming? I just couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot that I couldn't do. But it conditioned me, I as you mature and that person, you like that person, things change. You know what I'm saying? But when you 25 years old, you like, man, I'm trying to live mine. I ain't gonna
I
be
ain't got
changed
time to
here.
be at the children's hospital.
Children's hospital or with
Or
somebody,
no hospital for that
even if
matter.
she had what you have, even if she had lupus.
Lupus.
At 25, I wouldn't have dealt with it. You know what I'm saying? I would have been like, like this girl really, really, really loves me. I'm talking about she prays the ground I walk on. I step in the room, she freeze and just watch me the whole while. And I knew she liked me, but then she got one of her friends, one of our mutual friends, to tell me she really, how much she actually said. And so the friend was like, the mutual friend said, man, just go over there, man. She's so crazy about you. You just go by the house, but that'll make her day. She been feeling down, woo woo, yada yada. So I went by the house, you know what I'm saying? I said, all right, I'm local celebrity
You
anyway.
do
So I went by
charity work.
the house. And she was nice. I mean, nice. Would have been a good candidate for me to say, you know what, if I step up in here, she wasn't out there. if I step up in here with her, okay, he got himself something, you know, blah blah. And then she did, you know, we sitting on there, you know, on the couch or whatever, talking. And she had told me she had just had breast surgery. And she had to have one of her breasts removed because of cancer. And like I say, 25, I wasn't worth a dang, okay? 23,
I mean,
25 was worth
that's just some stuff that you really will have to have. Some husbands aren't even ready to go through that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
At
that
older,
haunts me up until
you
this
know, some
day.
husbands can't even do that.
You know, that haunt me up until this day because that story is so fresh. Because I never returned a call. I never went back over. I just blocked it completely out, man. And you know, it was crazy. But with maturity, like I
I'm gonna
say,
tell you, you know, you like you just got to know that the trash gonna take itself out. I'm not calling you trash, but at that point, you want the man for her.
right, right. I mean,
You see what
and
I'm
I
saying?
call, you know, like I said, I just wasn't built for that right back then. Because I already had trust issues. I already didn't trust females. I didn't, you know, and
Yeah.
I never wanted to be in a committed married type relationship. I just wanted to have a roster because I didn't trust, you know. So she was one of those who was gonna try to lock me down and honey,
Right.
I'm home, father knows best type shit and Cosby shows and shit. And I was like, that ain't me, because I'm gonna still talk to Sheila, even though I'm gonna have you, I'm gonna talk to Sheila and I'm gonna have Suzanne over there too. So when I get mad at you, I got at least that and a possible. I got two impossible. And that's how
So
I was living
sad.
my life, especially back then. I didn't calm down until maybe 10 years ago. When I met who I'm with now was the only time. Then I wasn't planning on calming down then. It's
I
just that
tell you,
we
every
both
night, every Wednesday, you need to come with a gift. You
we
need
were
to
looking
have
for
some. You need to go
dude,
shopping and just
dude.
keep them in the back pocket. You need to have gift after
Mhm.
gift after gift. That poor woman. That poor
But
woman.
you know, you know, and then it took me a minute, even when I called myself with who I'm with, I still wake up every other day, and she got tired of me saying that, and I'm like, I'm with somebody, I'm living with them. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this is not me. And I would say that, like, dude, for like 3 years, every other day, you're gonna hear me say, this ain't supposed to be me. This ain't. And I'm sitting up in here coming home to somebody. They
Three
in my
years, and
house.
then you've been doing this for 3 years. You still holler about this ain't me, this ain't me,
I'm still
nigga.
saying that. And like I said, we done
Nigga.
made 14, we done made 13, 12, 13 years together now. But then that first 3 years,
You owe her something for that right now. Right now.
but you know,
Tonight. Tonight.
it's out to the G. It's out to the G. Yeah, maturity is a waka flocka.
Thank
But
God for maturity.
dude. But on that note, yes, it's top of the hour. We about to get out. Shout out to George. Shout out to Austin who came through tonight. Kirk wasn't able to make it. He's on the road. He got a trip that he's doing. But
Okay,
this was
shout
our
out to
mental
Kirk.
health segment. What'd you say about Kirk?
I was just hollering at him.
Yeah, he on the road, but he'll be in next week because you know he the one introduced this mental health segment, and George was the first one to open it up. Uh, and like I say, it's therapy. I learn a lot through this podcast, and I grow with this podcast. I'm sure we all are
Yeah.
growing because we listen to hear other sides besides our
Yeah.
selfish thinking.
Right.
And so shout out to everybody that contribute. And then there was a lot of people that was coming on and things and commenting. So yeah, mental health. I guess we'll do that every third Wednesday because I was thinking about the last Wednesday, but we can do it every third Wednesday. We'll talk about mental health, a men's health, a woman's health, something that's going on that's plaguing our community, you know what I'm saying, and how to deal or cope with what's going on. So we're gonna do that once a month. So yeah, we'll do that once a month. And like I say, all them little hood rats you hang with, it's no problem. I'm on podcast, voice their opinion. I'm just messing with you. But they can, your friends can voice their opinion. They can come on, and you know, because next week
I've been trying. You know what? I hope they ain't been watching you. You done ran them away with all that woman hater stuff you be doing.
Hey, that's why they need to speak their mind. Because I'm gonna say what I say. You already know that. Now you know me.
There you
know
go.
me. You know me. I get a chance to hit you tonight. But yeah, bring them on. I'm ready for all of them. Tell them to come on. Because it ain't hating. I just speak the truth. And a lot of y'all not ready for the truth. You're not ready for it. Y'all in denial. A lot of women don't like to accept accountability for their actions. You are not a man. You are not a man.
Alike. That's men
you are
and
not
women
a man.
alike. No, we're not.
They are not alike. They're not alike.
People
They're not
not
looked at
taking
as the same.
accountability is across the board.
Men can't bear children. Women can't. And as
But I'm
far
talking
as
about the accountability part, not taking the accountability. That's men and women.
I take accountability. I love accountability. I love it.
Well, you will agree
I
because
like
there's a lot of men that cannot.
Well, I like it. So prove me wrong. I like to be proven wrong. Prove me wrong. Shit, educate me. I'm like Gerald Levert. I want you to teach me. You know what I'm saying? ABC 1, 2, 3. You feel me? But on that note, I need to play that on my TikTok. But yeah, I gotta revamp some things. But yeah, I'm gonna keep you posted. I'll send you a link.
Okay.
To let y'all know, because I think I'm probably gonna do it this weekend, because I think this is the first weekend I'm kind of not doing nothing. Last weekend we was with the kids doing a little resort type thing. So this weekend I think I'll be able to get up and do a little live Saturday. So I'm gonna shoot you that link and let you get on there so you can check out them reggae vibes. Then I'm gonna go to the club. Then I'm gonna play a little blues so you can have your little fan and your friends. Y'all get ready to. Even though you can't walk worth a damn right now, you'll be able to hop around.
Do it from my seat. Don't get it twisted. I can still
Okay.
move.
Well, have them over there, and with the thing, so they can have their boots on the ground. And yeah, I'm gonna turn up. I'm gonna let you know what's up though. But on that note, y'all know how we do. Speak on it podcast 2K25 DJ Black. I'm out of here. AJ, we out. Peace.
What you thinking, man?
I've been in the polyamory lifestyle. I can't even say lifestyle because it's not a lifestyle. It's a way of loving, not a way of living. I've been polyamorous for about 10 years now. And the mindset for me is mentally, I think I've been polyamorous longer than actually practicing it, because I've always felt that this monogamy just doesn't fit for me. I don't understand why I have to only love one person, or why I can only show affection for one person. Where is this written? Why do I have to go along with what the societal standard supposedly is?
Right.
And then
the problem comes when you love somebody too much. When you let yourself love somebody too much,
and they don't love you the same.
It's not even matter whether they love you back or not. They can love you back, but it's still unhealthy to love somebody that much. Which I understand that ideology of that. Well, I can't have. I might as well. You know, I've been there. I know that. But at the same time, you have to realize, you know, what your culpability is in a relationship going, however it went. You know, you start thinking about, well, damn, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. So, you know, you can love somebody too much. And then, see, that complicates things for us men, because we already have a hard time forming those emotional attachments. You already told, don't do that.
The missing link to that goes back to a time before we even thought, you know, why is that the way he was raised? Or maybe somebody hugged him one day, a man hugged him. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm just saying we got
no, but there are things that could have happened that absolutely that caused him to be the way he is.
Made him feel weird, needed.
Right.
So the things that we think are sometimes a rejection or a lack may have been a protection.
And most of the time they are like absolutely. But if we don't understand that, all we know is the rejection.
You see, like what I understand with my father,
men were going to jail, killing each other, and then now we got bisexual, then we got gays, now we got transgender. So with all of that going on, the purpose of that was removing the black man, the black male from the household. Okay? So with him not being in the household, she's getting the welfare, or she's out there in the workforce, forced to take care of herself, and if she have children, to take care of the children alone. Whether he's in jail, whether he's dead, whether he's bisexual, whether he's gay, whatever. The black male was removed from the home, and black woman was forced to provide for the children, for herself.
You're missing one other thing that removes black male from the home. That's white women. Because after a while, it was run on black men, white women. Yeah, white women. You know, at one point, black men, they just had to have a white woman. No matter what their social economical status was, white women was the way to go. And so that pulled a lot of black men out of the house.
Damn, I sure missed that. I mean, I know Rick James, you know, I know, you know, I mean, you did it. I just didn't think of that as a major absence of the black man. So
being a provider means so many things.
Right.
It means put you in a house. You know, it means I got your back. It means we're doing this together. It means I'm not gonna walk away when things get hard. You know, that's providing, right? I'm gonna provide emotional protection so that you can, you know, I'll be present for you when you don't feel like you can be there for yourself or whatever, you know. So there's so much more definition to the thing, right? And even on the flip side, looking at, you know, the, you know, men with kids, right? I remember I did not want a man who had kids. And I was about 25 when I met